Hey, everybody on YouTube, what is going on? Thank you so much for coming on in tonight as we are just 2 days away from the weekend and we are hanging on out and going to have a great show tonight with Bonnie Woodruff. And this lady here, brilliant, brilliant lady. Not only the fact she has nice hair, too. I'm just going to put that out there right now. She has nice hair. And you know, I love good hair. It's just one of those things that I do appreciate in life. All right, before we bring Bonnie on, let us make sure that we have a good rundown of our chat room. Mike L. in the gold medal position. We have gorgeous Kimberly in the silver, and James Horn taking home the bronze. Rarely shut out of the medals is Race Fan. Big Rob, how you doing, buddy? Brett Lewis is here, everyone, which means we could officially start the show. Nicola and Bobby, how you doing? Oh, there she is, everyone. The gorgeous and talented Jessica McCreary. Make sure you give her a round of applause. Sassy Sandra and Hungry Burrito, good to see you guys. The Philip Blair is here, everyone. The Philip Blair. He will be signing autographs after the show. Line up outside the studio to your right. To your right. Joining Philip, signing autographs, will be Howard tonight. He'll be signing on the left. On the left. Juliana, how are you? Thank you for joining us. Michael Lestuca, nice to have you here. Hi, Steve Stockton. Good to have you here from KPNL Radio. Johnny Half, welcome to our channel. I believe this may be your first time in our chat room, so thank you so much for joining us. Hi, Heather Thunderhawk. Welcome to the show. I think this is your second time here. I try and keep count. Ninja Wizard, good to see you here. Thank you for joining us. Hey, Worsley, how you doing, man? Good to have you here. Thank you so much. Millennium, nice to see you, my friend. Ken in Texas, how you doing? I hope Dallas is doing well for you tonight, my friend. Thank you for joining us. And Bigfoot, Michigan Rob, I need something from you, buddy. What time are we doing that again tomorrow? Can you send me a text message and just for confirmation, because my day is starting to get a little convoluted and I'm getting anxiety about it, but it's good anxiety. All right, scrolling on down. Oh, where are we? Oh, there's Ken in Texas there. All right. Jeez, my chat room jumped here. Hold on. All right. Troy SR71, good to see you. There she is, everyone. The gorgeous and talented Emily Bigelow, otherwise known as Alaska's greatest athlete. Avi May, welcome to our channel for the first time. Thank you. Hope you enjoy tonight's show. Hi, Jose. How you doing? Hey, Duke, I came in with about 6 minutes left. I was on the phone talking some UFO stuff with people and got busy. I apologize. Uncle Dale and his power stash. Nice to see you. Both have 2 different zip codes down in Texas. All right. Hey, Drake, thanks for coming on in, man. Good to see you. And Nimkish and Bassmaster, thank you for joining us. Stu Gerson's here, everyone. Stu Gerson, thank you for joining us, buddy. We really do appreciate it. Hold on a second here. One little minor snafu. And we're rolling on in. Move that up. All right, here we go. Well, let's see here. Who else do we have? The gorgeous and talented Kira. She is a good wrench, that one. All right. Project Blue Book, thank you for joining us. Hey, Parkway, good to have you back. Ozzy. Oi, oi, oi to you. Please let us know if we are alive tomorrow since you live in the future. We would appreciate that. And who am I missing here? Kevin, thanks for joining us. I think we're caught up. I know there will be more. Hi, Susan. Nice to have you here. All right. So, we have the lovely and talented Bonnie Woodruff, who apparently can't stay in her chair too long. You know, I don't know why. She just can't stay in her chair very long. There she is. I'm just teasing. All right, we have about a minute and a half to go here before we get going. Now, remember, listeners, a good way to support this show. By the way, thank you so much. You all deserve a round of applause. We passed 11,000 subscribers today. We're at 11,017. So thank you so much on behalf of everybody at Spaced Out Radio. A good way if you are new here. And Shiny Ray, I'm sorry I didn't have time to trim my mustache. I promise you I will get that done ASAP. But for all of you, thank you. A great way to support this show is to hit that subscribe button. hit that thumbs up, hit that thumbs down, ring that bell. The super chat is open. It's a great way to support what we do here on Spaced Out Radio on a nightly basis. And of course, you could always do some shopping right now. We're going to be changing up our store again, but you can do some shopping right now by going to facebook.com/the SOR Vault. It's a great way to support what we do. And thank you so much for doing that and getting your SOR swag. Once again, Bonnie Woodruff, we are talking paranormal hauntings, magic, occult, and why she is wearing dark purplish gray lipstick tonight. We need to know this answer. We're going to get going here in 2 seconds. Of central British Columbia to you listening around the world. This, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show on our terrestrial affiliates around North America and digitally on TalkStream Live, Revolution Radio, and KPNL. If you want to take a listen to our archives, they are free for you by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. You can follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirt's SOR Newswire. Tonight's show is brought to you by Chive Charities. Help make the world 10% happier by visiting Chive Charities today. You can find them on our website. Oh, we're in for a good one tonight, ladies and gentlemen. A clairvoyant, medium, channeler, and magic practitioner, Bonnie Woodruff became aware of her spiritual gifts at a young age, but she really didn't start utilizing them until 2012. That happened because she suffered a series of events that really reawakened her connection with the spiritual world and other energies. She now uses her gifts, experiences, and knowledge of the paranormal, occult, and the ties to the universe and collective consciousness, of course, because you need some of that sprinkled in there to help people along with how they all can connect. Then at the bottom of hour number 3, I will bring you the SOR Newswire, brought to you by Paranoia Magazine. Bonnie Woodruff, thank you so much for coming on Spaced Out Radio tonight. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
I'm glad you're here. Glad you're here. Now, for you, you said you'd always known about these experiences ever since you were a kid. You knew what was happening. Take us back to your childhood, if you don't mind, and let's go way back, and let's find out a little bit about you and how this came to who you are today.
Okay. Well, I was raised in a very, Southern Christian home that Methodist. It is like a branch off of Catholicism, and basically, if you've ever seen King of the Hill, they were Methodists. So, yeah, it was like being so different. I always teased. My parents were always like, "Bonnie, that girl." Oh, because I always questioned the religion and everything the way I was brought up, because it was just a little bit different than what the one book said. It was like there was so much more to it, I think, that was missing. I was like, well, because I had asked the questions, I'd raised my hand in church, which I guess was not a good thing. My dad was always like, Bonnie, stop. But yeah, I think it really kind of got wild though when I was, 9-10 years old, and I woke up in the middle of the night and thought it was my mom. I started talking to my mom, what I quote unquote my mom, and she didn't respond. She didn't turn around, and I kind of panicked at first, and it's like, okay, mom, and once I realized that this thing in front of me, physically right there, I could see it, like tangibly grab it if I tried, which I definitely wasn't going to do at that time. But I freaked out. Oh, let me just say, my sister has gifts too. She just doesn't. She kind of has learned to mute them. She was one of the lucky ones who kind of knows how to ignore it to some degree. And I was like, told my, and I'm the big sister, so this sounds horrible, but I was like, Sissy, you awake? She's like, yes. I was like, oh gosh. I says, call mom. She goes, I told you. Like she had been seeing it. And I was like, I told her she was crazy because that's what everybody else was saying. So I just, even though I kind of was shadow people more than anything at that time, I just went with what I was taught. So yeah, that's kind of how it started. And yeah, me and my sister started going to bathroom in pairs and stuff after that. Yeah.
For you, I mean, going through this in childhood and seeing spirits, ghosts hanging around you, I mean, that had to be a little bit different. Did you think that you were seeing things? Did you think the rest of the people around were seeing things as well, like your friends, or did you feel a little different?
Honestly, when it came to like shadow people and things just like that, I just kind of thought that it was normal until my mom says, don't talk about that. Not, that's not, well, she put it to me, it's not right biblically. And like, we just don't just, you gotta not do, you can't, like, I feel like the way she was explaining is like I know now for a fact she had dreams. She was very like, to this day, if my mom says she has a dream or nightmare or whatever, we are going to ask her all about it because we're going to plan our day around that. No joke. But she can see more of something that may happen. Whereas that's not really one of my gifts. I can kind of get an eerie feeling, but my mom can have seen things like almost play out. But yeah, she just told us not to talk about it. So then I realized it was way different. So we stopped talking about it. We very seldom would we mention seeing something. My sister and I, though, we would kind of pair up, especially when things would seem to hype up for whatever reason. Our teen years were quite um, rough at times because teen angst, and you have the whole deal of poltergeist activity that it's funny when you say you can create your own monsters, and that we did quite often.
Well, tell us about that. What's it like to manifest your own monsters?
Luckily, we didn't have anything moving per se around the house, but like I remember one time my mom and my sister were arguing in front of the bathroom, and literally you could hear it sounded like a whole dress, like a cabinet with knickknacks fail. And we literally opened the door and everything was in place where it should be, but you heard the crash, and my mom just shut the door and kept walking, and nobody fought after that. The fight was done. Oddly enough, but yeah, it was things like that. We would say something and it would just eh, sometimes the environment would react around it, like lights flicker, and of course that still does happen with me quite a lot. I have to kind of work on that at times, depending on, unless I'm trying to do something like that on purpose. Usually it's more accidental than anything.
Okay. So for you, all of a sudden starting to hone these gifts, and you kind of brushed them away through childhood because you wanted to try and live a normal childhood life with everything,
Mhm.
and in that difficult situation. So why or what happened back in the 2000s where you all of a sudden decided that this was something that you needed to become a little bit more engaging with?
Well, I realized at that point that, um, well, okay, at that time, I was leaving in a very abusive emotionally and physically relationship. And of course, this person was being very, 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 oh, he was calling me constantly. He was coming to the house. The police couldn't really do much to help me. And like it was like you just kind of crawl within yourself. And then on top of that, I was thinking, well, if I go out on a date, things are going to be better. So I tried to put myself out there and try to start dating. And then of course I was assaulted. So it was like, okay, where is the good in this world? Um, and it was at that point, it came, when I say crashing back, it came crashing. A Because of my ex, I had a security system with the cameras and everything. I did not realize at the time I was making my own paranormal. camera system, I got a a notification that there was movement in my house. I'm laying in bed and I'm like, my heart starts fluttering. I'm thinking my ex is like crawled through a window or something, and I look, and as clear as day, I mean, I still have the video of it. There is a shadow man that walks from my laundry area into through my kitchen toward my kids' room, and I looked, I blinked, I rewatched it like 3 times, and then at this is so sad, but my oldest has always been my, I had him pretty. Well, I couldn't drink yet, so but I because he is so tech savvy and one of those that will scientifically break everything down. I called him in. I said, "Look at this, and can you please explain this? Has to be like a reflection of light." He's like, "Mom, I have no explanation for that." He goes, "But that's kind of scary." I said, "Well, thanks. I feel so much better now. I'm asleep great." That was just the beginning. This certain entity, like this, like would I remember one night he blew on the back of my it. I call him a he. I tried. I had to go to a psychic because it was getting so bad to see what I could do. And I did have to actually cleanse this particular spirit out. I mean, this is the one and only time that I had to go to those lengths to remove something that was really affecting us, because it like was touching me constantly, blowing it, the back of my head, just kind of um raise fear. And I did know that as much as to, you know, stay as calm as I could, act like I didn't notice it because I didn't want it to stay around and feed. And so yeah, getting rid of it when we actually once I knew it was gone, the electricity in the house just went off. And my kids, because I was teaching, I thought I would teach my kids at least at that point. So my kids were helping me learn how to cleanse, like something nasty out of the house. And when the electricity, went below, and my kids just ran and grabbed me, and I was like, "Hey, remember?" It was like, "Okay, we're not supposed to be scared." I'm like, "Right." And I said it had to leave, and it just didn't want it. And it's all I explained it to them. And um, I guess being so open has helped them to not fear the way that I did. So I kind of try to start them as young so that they wouldn't feel either ashamed or weird or different, because I realized it is something that seems to be inherited. There was a big chance that my children might have it as well. And my middle child definitely has it. All of my kids have different types of, I would say, abilities or gifts. But my middle one is the most like me. So he's interested in it. So it's kind of a nice thing that I kind of clued them in on too.
I want to ask you that because that's kind of an interesting aspect of everything that we don't normally talk about on this show. As a parent, how do you feel about passing this gift down to your children? I mean, was there worry? Was there concern? What goes through your mind?
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's worry and concern because, I mean, for me, the way I was raised, I was terrified. I mean, there was a right lady in the house, like that. At first I thought it was my mom, and I felt safe until I realized it wasn't. And I, you know, I wanted my kids to realize and try to, like, if they when they did, or well, when they did, because that's what happened. Is I wanted them to like realize that, okay, if it's something that is just trying to, seek a sensitive or a clairvoyant or whatnot, that especially at their age, that they need to move on. Go to my mom. Go to somewhere else. Don't mess with me because I'm not ready. I am not ready yet to help you. Or if always to come and get me. Which to this day, my middle one is 16. Sorry, but he does, and we actually had that not about a few days ago, actually. Now this time it kind of he for the first time in a long time, it scared him enough. I heard him jump down off the top of his bed. I got a loft bed, and he jumps down. I hear his feet hit the floor, and he comes running. I'm like, what the heck? And he jumps in bed. And he covers his head up. He goes, "Mama." somebody just whispered, "Hey," in my ear. And I said, "Oh gosh, okay." And I had to explain to him. I knew what it was. It was just something that had just kind of tagged along with me home from an investigation I just did because it's seeking help. And yeah, I had to explain that one to him. And once he realized why that person was here, or that spirit was here, he felt kind of sad for it, and realized that, okay, my mom's the one that's going to help you. Please don't come and whisper in my ear anymore. Yeah.
What's it like to talk to dead people?
um, half the time I feel like it's um, like they're. I mean, still sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel so insane until something like how I've helped people find a key that their loved one was trying to tell them to look for, and they send me the picture of the key that they found. Or another time there was somebody that was wanting to find out who murdered their parent, and I said, well, the person that did this, I said, they dropped it because the past person was showing me that they dropped something out of their car when they jumped back in and sped off. And when they messaged me back and said they found this receipt that they dropped out of that car, I got chills, because at that point I realized that sometimes I think it's just the validation that I need to kind of like, hey, it's not you're insane. It's just you you sense or pick up on things that just not everybody does. I always try to. I kind of have the feeling that not. I feel like everybody is gifted in a sense. Um, it's how open you are to it, or how I think it has a lot to deal with compassion or empathy as well. I think there's just a lot of factors that can make a person super uh, sensitive, I guess. But I do feel like it's something that everybody can hone into if they really just try to um, let go of worrying about what others think. And that was the thing. Once I kind of let go of all those perceptions that people might have, it just kind of made it to go a lot smoother, I guess. Because it's always going to be a bumpy ride or strange. But I will never be. I'm happy I chose what I did instead of just like getting the psychic to help me get rid of the spirit and then just go back to my normal life. And when I say normal, I say that very casually, but yeah, I'm glad I did what I did.
Bonnie Woodruff is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. We're getting into everything paranormal tonight on the show. Bonnie, as someone who communicates with the other side, and we're going to get more into this as the show goes on, how draining is it for you when all of a sudden you get a bunch of spirits out there that are knocking at your door saying, Bonnie, hey, we need to chat here. I need to go find cousin Eddie to show him where the money is over by the old tree in the forest.
Oh, okay. But yeah, that is, I was reminded this past week exactly how draining it could be. Just got back from the Hill House in um, where is it's in Mineral Wells, Texas, and the very lovely people that own the land and such. But ooh, um, not only are you dealing with um, past humans there, dealing with like things that are just absolutely ancient. I when I got home, we I was going to go to work that day, and I'm like, nope, not doing it. And I took off and I slept all day. And then the next day I went to work as usual, but instead of eating lunch, I took naps on my hour lunch break. It just was so draining because there was like the only way I could explain it, that particular house, that location, the land, um, it was just pulsating with energy, and some of it extremely strong. It just took everything out of me, to be quite honest.
How does it affect you physically?
Um, Sometimes I will get headaches, or This last time I got even like stomach, like my stomach was just knotted up and crazy. I've had muscle aches. This time it got me pretty good. Usually it just is normally a headache, but this time it got my shoulders, my neck. It had me all tense, and yeah, this last time was quite dramatic, to be honest.
When you go through something like that, how do you get your energy back? How do you escape that paranormal lockdown on your own body?
We actually were kidding the other day, calling it a paranormal hangover. Yeah, I try to just give myself rest and like recuperation time. I try not to push myself too hard to. Um, I mean, I try to keep up with my normal chores, work, and all that, but I am not going to be as worrisome about, okay, I need to get 2 loads of laundry today instead of, I'll get one. And if I do that, I'll be proud of myself because I know that I need that time to recoup. I try to be as nice to myself as I can when it comes to like trying to get my energy and self drain, like any of the draining, like when I try to I guess you'd say recharge.
It almost sounds the same as ET contactees, that when they
Mm.
are taken, they wake up the next day feeling as if they hadn't slept a wink. Their body is sore. Their body is very
Mm.
lethargic. Their mind is as well. Is that kind of the way it is on the spirit realm
Oh,
as well?
yes. Yes, very much. It can be, especially when you're dealing with things that you can't quite. I like this last time. I don't know exactly. Where the closest thing I can say is that it felt more like, and it sounds funny, but it's Wendigo type energy is what I kept feeling like, and I was like, this is crazy. But I kept, and I looked at the owners, and I said, this feels like Wendigo energy, and the lady actually told me that they've been told something very very similar. Um, and I told them, I was like, do not go past, I told them what point of their backyard after dark, because it felt like it like it could affect them, like from then on if they do. So I mean, and there were such wonderful people though, but it's that land. I know I couldn't personally probably live with somewhere like that. I know I couldn't. I wouldn't. There's no way.
Does it stress you out?
Um, that yes, a little bit. Because I when you go to a place like that and you can physically feel how it affects you, you know that it's the long term effects of that kind of exposure can really it can affect a person's, the living's health if they're not careful.
Very true. As we got about 40 seconds here before we go to break, then why do it?
Oh, well, because I do it in doses. I try to be very careful about it. And everybody thinks my house is so haunted, but they don't understand. I probably have the most spiritless house that there is because I do try to keep that very, very maintained.
Come to my house.
Oh, wow.
You'll see crap. I'm like a Kmart blue light special here. Literally.
Been there before. I've been there before. I had to learn. We're shutting down business hours.
Not me. It's just always here. Bonnie, I'm going to get you to
Oh,
hold on right there because we are going to go to break here at the bottom of the hour. We're going to have a fun show tonight. Bonnie Woodruff is our guest tonight. She's lighting the incense to make sure the spirits don't come near this interview tonight. Sage away, people. Sage away. Paranormal Talk continues on Spaced Out Radio right after this. All right, we're clear.
yes.
Couple things, if you don't mind.
Okay.
When you put your hands up like this,
Hmm.
we can't hear you.
Okay.
You become real
Sounds
muffled,
okay.
and when you're turning your head to, because it sometimes cuts out on your microphone. So
Okay.
just try and keep a little bit clearer
Still.
there. Yeah, that would be cool. Otherwise, that was a good solid first half hour fast, eh?
Yes, it did. It
Yeah.
really did.
That's because it's my
And
beard. It's my beard that causes this. Which, by the way,
nice.
hold on. We'll give you a choice. Should I moisturize my beard with True North beard oil or
Mhm.
Winter Blend?
True North.
All right. So Bonnie has chosen True North. I have to do my sponsorship here. True North from Mighty Moose Beard Oil and MightyMooseBeard.com. Remember, it is all in Canadian dollars. Gary the Dutchman makes this. It's all natural, no chemicals. All right. And if you use promo code SOR2019, you're going to get a discount. When's the last time you could say you got a discount from a Dutchman? Honestly, it doesn't happen often. It really doesn't. Between the Dutchman and us Ukrainians, we are cheap. We are. But this is how it works. Nice and simple, people. You just squirt it into your hand like so. Little True North there. Smells like trees. Smells like you're out in the wilderness looking for Sasquatch. And you just massage it in. That's it. Just like that. Just massage it in. Oh, look how good Davy's beard looks now. Look how good Davy's beard looks now, people. And this isn't just for the men. Hey, Corrance, the booking guy. This isn't just for the men because, ladies, it's good for your hair as well. It helps keep your hair moisturized. That way you don't get any split ends because nobody likes split ends. Nobody, you go out to a party or something, you go hang out with your friends and they're like, oh, look at your split ends. Your hair looks terrible. Doesn't happen when you put in this stuff. Look how good my hair looks now. Just that easy. MightyMooseBeard.com. All right. Tell Gary the Dutchman, SOR 2019. You're going to use it for the promo code. He's going to give you a deal. Remember, all the prices are in Canadian dollars. So if you're in the U.S., you're actually saving money. It's much cheaper. Much cheaper. So there you go. Go visit MightyMooseBeard.com. Yeah, there we go. Hi, sorry.
Very nice.
Yeah, well, somebody's got to take care of me.
Love it.
Exactly. See how good the beard looks now?
Nice and lovely.
Mm-hmm. How we roll up here in the Great White North.
We experienced some of that little snow stuff that you guys seem to have, and
yes,
us Texans were not having it.
Well,
we did not fare well.
Barring the horrid conditions, for the homeless and the accidents with people driving without winter tires on the highways, we were laughing at you. I'm not going to lie. We were.
I don't blame you. Honestly, I was laughing at us because it's like we were creative. I mean, I think we had a candle dinner. Like when I say candlelit dinner, I mean we roasted hot dogs over candles.
Well, the week after that happened for you guys, or the week after that happened when you guys got hit, we were just coming out of minus 34 Fahrenheit.
My goodness, I could not imagine the negative. No,
feels great. Feels great. It hurts. It literally hurts.
Oh, I can. Well, yes, I had a little bit. I mean, not quite the encounter you guys do, but we had it similar. It was an experience.
Yeah. You live through the big storm of 21.
Let me tell you, my husky loved it. I didn't know that dogs like to eat snow.
Oh yes.
Buried his head and just was chomping. I'm like, what are you doing?
My one dog will actually lay on his side. I got a slope in my backyard. He'll lay on his side and he'll sled his body down the hill. He just loves the snow so much, which is cool.
It's fun watching them.
Oh yeah. All right. So we have about 30 seconds here before we're going to go live. You having fun yet?
I am.
Good.
I'm surprised you haven't seen anything, because the other night my friend, we were doing an interview I was doing for Unexplained Possibilities, and saw he caught something behind me.
Ah, well,
it was crazy.
Well, we'll see if it pops up. Hey, big thank you to both Cat Chaser and Mike's Adventures for the awesome super chats. We really do appreciate the love and support for you and what you have for Spaced Out Radio. It's a great way to support what we do. Here we go with the second half hour. Second half hour of Spaced Out Radio is underway. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We appreciate earning your listening ears wherever you are in this beautiful planet we call Earth. Or if you're an alien tuning on in, stop by. I'd like to go for a ride. Let's just be honest. I really, really would. Hey, I want to remind you that if you've missed portions of this show or others, check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/spaced out radio. Do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. We're talking ghosts, paranormal, all sorts of weird magic tonight. Bonnie Woodruff is our guest. She's down in Texas. She survived the cold and the frozen tundra, and she's not ready to have it back again. But Bonnie, we're glad you are here. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks again for having me.
All right, let's get into some paranormal stories here. Out of all the ghosts and spirits and entities that you have dealt with over the years, tell us a story about one that still stands out for you.
Okay. Well, it was during the time that that I was still dealing with my ex-husband, and kind of the thought and the worry about him breaking in and such. I remember one night I was up. I should not have been watching horror movies, but I was. And I get up. I had to go to the bathroom, and I walk in the hall, and I come to a dead stop because it was now. This is like the shadow figures that are the not so nice kind, so solid that I a few seconds had to sit there and think, you know, like, is this a person all dressed in black? And I was like, no, that's not. So just turn around. Don't go to the bathroom. You can hold this. And I did. It was so. I almost bumped into it, and when I say bumped, because it had mass. I was trying not to be. I was trying not to be afraid, but when you see something that solid and it is sneaking in, and it sees you, I just try to maintain to where I wanted it to think I was dumb and not onto it at all. So that hopefully it would keep going. I lucked out that time because it did. I didn't have any other dealings with that particular one, but I will tell you that one stopped me in my tracks right then and there. That's one of the many.
Well,
I've gone.
let's add to that. For people who have experienced shadow people, we know what it's like. It's eerie seeing the figure of a person standing right in front of you, sometimes with a real dark thickness of shadow. I mean, I don't know how else to properly put that, but I mean, when you come into contact with something like that, what's your advice to people on how to deal with that?
For me, the best way, I try to not as if you can try not to react. I know it sounds crazy though, is that it's like, well, how do you not like? Well, I mean, I kind of go back to the whole kid, like, I don't, you can't see me, because if you do not react to it, my experience has been that a lot of times they'll just keep on going, because there's nothing to feed off of. There's no, I'm not giving it either fear or anxiety or anything that they can kind of pull from, pull that energy source from and use it. That has been the best go-to method that works. It does work if you can maintain not being afraid, which is not always so easy.
Okay, so on top of that, we have a bunch of listeners out there in Radio Land, YouTube Land, who may not know what a shadow person is. So if you could define that, that would be wonderful.
Okay. Well, a shadow person or shadow being, I mean, a lot of times, like some from me, from my experiences, um, when you're like when I was a kid, I would a lot of times like be looking in the mirror, be fixing my hair or whatnot, and I could see something pass, you know, out of my peripheral vision. But and you can tell it's a shadow. But when there's a shadow that goes across and there's nobody there to be casting that shadow, especially if it's moving, um, I because I was always so skeptical of it myself, I would always kind of check and okay, is that me just being crazy or is that something? But yeah, it's literally like you see almost a human type shadow. You can some like a lot of times they're going to creep across the walls. I've seen them in places though, like I've seen them on ceilings, which sounds crazy, but yeah. Um, Sometimes they can be tall and skinny. It's very interesting because so many of them are different. Some will have like just a little bit of a grayness, so you're not even sure if it is quite a shadow. But the ones that I really are red flag to me are the ones with the mask, the ones that, like I said, well, you can bump into them. That they're almost well. I, I still say this one was solid. It's those are the ones I feel like that they have enough energy or a way to manipulate energy that they can cause discomfort or harm in some ways. Because if they've already worked it to where they have enough energy behind them that they can manifest to that extent, um, they're going to use any energy source you give them. But the light ones sometimes are just honestly, I've noticed that sometimes the shadow figures were actually spirits of other past people just trying to manifest, and that's about all that they could do, which sounds funny, but it's like, you know, I've realized a couple of times that shadow figures were actually past people. And this was back when actually it was more, there was a couple of family members, and I didn't realize who or what it was, like my grandmother, for one. But yeah, but she just could never manifest um, like physically like the others did. If they're having a hard time, like bringing their image through, sometimes all you get is the shadow, if that makes sense.
Sure, sure. Are they evil? Demonic? Are they grandma checking up on us from the other side?
Some, like some of them are okay. Some of them are like I said, to me, the dark ones, the ones that you cannot see through. Just always be wary, because I feel like those have just knowing, being able to read off that energy, they do feel like a red flag, especially dealing with this type of stuff as long as I have. When I get actually scared, I realize that this is okay, red flag, pay attention and try not to react to this, and it'll keep going. Because other ones that are, you know, like translucent, or you can kind of you can see through them. Those are just kind of like trying to let you know they're there. And it's a lot of times, most of the time, those are like people that have passed. Sometimes I have noticed that some of them have kind of like an elemental type quality. Um, I like that's similar to how a fairy. I did not know. I For the longest I thought that kind of fairies was like, oh, that'd be great if they were real, but I was very skeptical until I saw one. But they're kind of similar to that. They're just a lot smaller,
I get that,
like different. Yeah.
and I can appreciate that, and I think a lot of people are very curious about the paranormal. For people out there who may hear their house settling, or little noises and nicks on the walls, or the sounds of voices that may not be there. How does one know if their home is haunted?
Um, well, be honest, most places are going to have a little bit of activity. I mean, it's just yeah, most places will have a little bit of spirit activity come through it or whatnot. Um, that's why I try to kind of keep mine as clear as possible. I mean, of course, I'm going to get some coming up like, "Hey, can you help me out here?" But um, if you're actually having a depends on if it's a residual haunting or actually active where they are interacting with you. If you can. I've had them like, okay, knock for me if if you can understand me. And when I get that kind of response, I will definitely, there goes the word investigate. I will try to figure out if I cannot pick up on what it is I'm dealing with. I will definitely kind of um, tune more into like the land and surrounding things about because sometimes it's something just that's been there a real long time ago. And sorry, I heard as we're talking, I'm hearing something out of my head, like I don't know. I'm sorry, but I it's weird because like I picked up on there's a place in San Antonio, Texas that or near San Antonio that I went to, and I went into what they call the underground Indian raid shelter. And I'm sitting there and I hear like the like Indians like charging and they're doing their war cry and I can even hear the hooves of the horses, and I jump up because it was so loud right behind me like they were I jump up and I turn around and my first instinct it was funny because of course my children were not with me but I go to find my kids and it was like I was picking up like a female mother's the way she reacted to and being rated and I had always kind of looked towards the other side about, how the, Indians were done. But boy, it made me look at things a whole new perspective because there was like, everybody was, I mean, there was a lot of awful death and things surrounded it during that time. And, you know, I could only imagine what it was like for the women trying to protect her kids as much as she could. And so, yeah, that one was quite interesting. Yeah, and sometimes they're just quite noisy, to be honest. If they're noisy, sometimes that's the you might I like to go ahead and not let those hang around if they're going to disturb, especially with kids. That's kind of my thing. It's like you mess with my kids, we got problems, and that's always been the number one rule here.
Okay, but for you, when you go to someone's house and they say it's never really been haunted before, we haven't had anything weird,
Oh,
and then all of a sudden I'm seeing, cups going across the counter. I'm hearing the tap water running in the bathroom when no one's home but me. I'm seeing my dogs being what looks like being chased out of bedrooms. I mean, people are starting to see a little bit more, and we see this through COVID times with all the
mm,
lockdowns that have happened where people aren't home during the day and all of a sudden they're looking around their house saying, I got some weird stuff going on.
that's something that is so I you know what boom that's so interesting because a lot of times like if you ever see the paranormal shows they always do it at night. Why is it done at night? Oh, okay, creep factor for one, yes. But at nighttime, realize the world's quieter. Everything's more still. You're not getting so much background noise. But if you're home during the day and things are quiet and still and such, then yes, you are going to notice the things that you didn't notice before because there is the silence and such. So if you have that home setting like you would at night when you start kind of hearing weird things, doesn't mean you're just haunted during the night. That's never really the case. You just have never noticed it during the day because you're so busy cooking or whatnot. And once these people that have had the time at home with COVID and such, it's yeah, it's people are seeing a lot more. Of course, and with online shopping, I know a lot of people like to go and get like I have a lot of friends that go and do antiquing. I'm like, be careful what you get. I'm like, just seriously, they think I'm crazy, but as a kid, my mom used to go. antiquing all the time. My grandmother would do it before her, and I remember there was a picture in our house that me and my sister would avoid the certain. It was a living room. It was a second living room, but we would not even go in there because we they kept saying, "Why do you hate that picture?" So we hate it. It's bad. We didn't understand quite all of the way the our gifts worked at that time, but we knew that we did not like the energy that we were feeling off of that picture. So yeah, watch what you buy, especially right now especially if you have to be home with it all the time.
Well, that's something we haven't talked about on the show for a long time is haunted objects and haunted items. I mean, if you go into an antique store, what's the chances of actually getting something that's haunted? Because I've known someone who owns an antique store, and he says, we have some weird stuff happening here, and he's into the paranormal as well. He's like, but not every item is, but we have a lot of people coming in because everybody wants that haunted item, so that way they have that talking piece in their house, not knowing what that spirit may be attached to it.
Oh, yes. It's okay. From what I've noticed, it depends. Like, okay, it's gonna sound crazy, but some of these car keys could get extremely, could be an object, that would be a trigger object or whatnot. Because, well, if you're holding them all day and kind of something that you're putting a lot of your living energy in, and then you go and pass. Well, it is literally just passed over to that object. That what is it? The stone theory. Things like that. I know dolls are one that always kind of gets the rap. I do have one. She actually swapped. She swapped on me. She had this really creepy. I guess you'd call it vessel beforehand, and she let me know that she decided she thought my living dead doll was way cooler, and that's the one she chose. So that was quite interesting. But like, I do know that some people that if a spirit does not want to leave, that there are ways to let them, use the vessel, so they can have a spirit vessel. I will just give those in several different ones like that. Everybody talks about Ouija boards. There are some that will have hauntings, but to me, it's not quite a haunting. It is the energy that has been caught on that said board. I have one that a friend of mine brought me. He works for a prison, and it was something that was confiscated out of a prisoner's, like cell. Sorry, I was trying to use the right word, but cell. And I do. I took that out actually the other day. I usually keep it put away and kind of like wrapped because I do. I'm not really crazy about the energy off of it because whoever made it, because they made this board and so that means that they put their actual living energy into this board, so that even if this person is not passed away, it can actually cause some ruckus as well. Energy is energy, whether it is from the living or the dead. It's that board itself could be kind of will have like it's. Like I said, I do keep that one actually shut away because of just of all my boards that I have quite a few. That one is the one that I'm like, I like to keep this one just under lock and key. And it's kind of funny because most people think that all Ouija boards are scary or whatnot, and I mean that one's the one that's kind of the most eerie to me. Um, like also, I have, and I keep this put away as well. I know this sounds funny, but I do own a lot of, I would say, haunted or questionable objects. Some of them I've used for trigger, but and some of them I use in my magic practice as well. But I have crawl space dirt from John Wayne Gacy from his home before they tore it down,
What do you have from
and
there?
crawl space dirt where his
Ew.
where I know
Ew.
yes,
Out of all the
but
of all time out of all the dirt to have,
yes, I know.
there's probably DNA in there.
And that's what I'm saying. It makes a really neat trigger object, especially if you're going to. And I did. I when I first got it, I pulled out my spirit box, and boy, I turned it off because I did. After I heard help, 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 I said whoop, and yeah, no way, because that was quite and that just felt so uncomfortable. It's like, man, that sucks, because what do you do? It's no, I can't help you, dude. It already happened. That one was uncomfortable. But yeah, I have that, but and I use that more in my magic practice. I do still keep it locked up, but like I will take it out on different, like recently. I took it with me to this last investigation. And what I didn't know at first was I kept being drawn, and like one channeling session that the main investigator was doing, I kept looking behind me. There was this picture that kept getting my attention. And I asked the owner later, I was like, what is this picture? She said, that's John Wayne Gacy. And I'm like, well, that makes sense. I had the dirt there in the room with me. And that's why I kept turning around, and I did not realize she had a lot of collectible items, kind of more auditorium type things. And I kept looking at that picture of Gacy, but I didn't realize I was holding and messing with that dirt all night long.
Okay,
So
I got to cut you off there and ask you, as we got about 2.5 minutes. What is the addiction for a lot of people in this field to tie themselves to very macabre objects, whether it's soil from underneath John Wayne Gacy's house, or whether it's a haunted object, a haunted clock or doll? I mean, we see these are some of the hottest objects. We have a curiosity shop just in the next town below, and literally she gets, during the tourist season, every day people coming in there asking for haunted objects. And
wow.
if that's happening up here, it's probably happening everywhere, not only in North America but the world. So the curiosity factor I get, but what is the addiction to adding to a collection like this?
I really, well, okay, let's be honest. I'm sure for some it is because of movies. You watch the movie, the Conjuring or whatever, and that series and stuff, and it's all fun and games and stuff until you really got a problem on your hands. Or for others, it is because um, I guess I try to understand that energy that when it came with the serial killer stuff, because that's not the only serial killer item I have, which I do have a letter from the night stalker too that he had wrote somebody, but it's to try to see the triggers. If these have caught enough of that person's energy that um, that it actually can cause like manifestations of spirits and such. So it's kind of like seeing how commonplace that can be. So yeah, I do feel for whoever lives on that property now, because that soil is. I don't. It's like I have a tiny jar, and it's insanely active, I guess you'd say.
That is incredible. Absolutely incredible. My friend, I'm going to get you to hold on right there because we are going to go to commercial here at the top of the hour, and we're going to continue the paranormal talk. We're going to get into some magic, some spell casting. Let's get a little witchy next hour. I'd love to get a little witchy next hour. Would you? Bonnie Woodruff is our guest tonight. She is a paranormal investigator. She is a magic practitioner. She is a channeler. We're going to get into a lot of this really cool stuff when we come back on Spaced Out Radio with Bonnie. And we will take your questions as well, because we're going to open up the chat rooms to all your questions about the paranormal. Bonnie Woodruff, our guest. We continue on with hour 2 of Spaced Out Radio, coming up right after this. All right, I'm just going to run my dogs outside. I'll be right back, okay?
Spaced Out Radio, this is Ron Bumblefoot Thal. Come tune in to SOR where you can hear me rock out with Little Brother is Watching, the official theme song of Spaced Out Radio. And then come on over to bumblefoot.com where you can find out about my tour schedule, my music, and everything else. Bumblefoot.com keeps you up to date on what I'm doing and the best way to stay in touch with my music and music camps. Sign up for my newsletter at bumblefoot.com and remember, Little Brother is Watching.
I'm feeling a little spicy tonight. What to do? What to do?
Why not get Bumblefuck?
4 million Scoville units of pure hard rock. Bumblefoot hot sauces come in 3 flavors. The burning Bumble. Tone it down a bit with Bumblicious and throw the sauce on everything.
Spice it up. Bumble me, baby. Bumblefoot hot sauce. Get it today at kajans.com.
Hi, this is Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel where we store all of the SOR show archives for free. And as an added bonus, every 2 weeks I'm posting brand new content on Cryptid Tales, where I will get into some of the spookier legends and folklore from around the world and tell the stories that go with them. Find us at youtube.com/spacedoutradio and check out Cryptid Tales today. Drop a comment and let me know what you want to hear. See you there.
We are scouring the world for the most intriguing stories of your day. Take the time to read up on the SOR Newswire, where our team, led by Captain Shirk, will deliver to you some of the best paranormal and supernatural news, along with some stories that will blow your mind from the weird to the wacky. It's the news outside the news that piques interest, and that's what we're looking to deliver to you. The SOR Newswire, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and stashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients with our oils and balms to make your whiskers feel silky smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at mightymoosebeard.com today.
The party is always on at the Moose Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is where you want to be when visiting Canada's West Coast. Open until 2 a.m. nightly, the Moose cranks up the rock while serving some of the best rated food in the city. The menu starts at $6.95. Why party anywhere else in Vancouver when the Moose is right there? Get your horns up and rock with the Moose, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Hey space travelers, this is John Resig, founder of the Chive and Chive Charities. If you know anything about our website, you know we like to do things a little differently. We're not some faceless organization collecting money for a nebulous cause. Our donor dollars go directly toward life-improving items. Then we give those items directly to an underdog who needs it most. To become a donor with Spaced Out Radio's official charity, Chive Charities, just go to chivecharities.org/donate.
The SOR Vault is open for business, and do we have some cool swag for you to pick up? All you have to do is head over to our website and click on the SOR Vault. You have a variety of cool logos to choose from, and put them on anything you want. T-shirts, hoodies, hats, coffee mugs, you name it, we can get it to you. So do your shopping by supporting the store you love. Get your Spaced Out Radio swag at the SOR Vault today.
All right, we're back. We've got 2 minutes. Just so you guys know, we'll be adding to the beard collection in the studio, as Science Bob has mailed his beard that he shaved off, his COVID beard, to us. So we will now have a 4th beard in the studio. I'm kind of excited about that. Hi, Kim Jellin. How are you? Nice to see you, Kim Judden. Who else we got? Chris Reap. Who else is new in here that I haven't said hello to? Oh, we're good so far. I think we're caught up. Alicia Schneider, welcome to our channel. How are you? Thank you for joining us. If you're new, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Skraling, welcome to our Spaced Out Radio channel. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you don't mind. We'd appreciate it. Nicholas Shaughnessy, how are you? Been a while. How are you? Oh, there she is, everyone. Gorgeous Amy Vegas O. There she is. Give her a round of applause, everyone. All right. We got about 25 seconds. A big thank you to Eric, to Cat Chaser, and to Mike's Adventures for the amazing super chats. It's a great way to support what we do on this show. Also, if you're brand new, hitting that thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs sideways, and hitting that subscribe button and ring that bell really helps. And you can do some shopping. Get yourself a Spaced Out Radio t-shirt at facebook.com/the SOR Vault. Hey, Fapster, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Thank you for joining us.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott. Follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Facebook, Spaced Out Radio Show.
Hour number 2 of Spaced Out Radio is underway tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. We really do appreciate earning your listening ears. We want to thank everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on TalkStream Live, Revolution Radio, and KPNL. All of our archives are free by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. What do you got for us tonight, Clam? Karyotype. Karyotype is your password. Use it wisely, space travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. We continue on tonight talking the paranormal with our guest, Bonnie Woodruff. She's based out of Texas. She goes chasing ghosts. Why? Because she finds it fun. Who finds it fun? Bonnie does. And we say thank you for coming back, Bonnie.
Yes, of course.
All right. I want to talk to you a little bit about channeling before we get too deep into it. Now, for a lot of people who think of channeling, they think of grabbing a remote control for a television and flipping through the channels as quickly as they can to find something that they want to watch. But channeling in the spiritual world is a completely different topic. What's your definition of this and how does it work?
For me, channeling, well, depending on what I'm channeling, automatic writing works best for me. I will start with that. I would say I've written in languages that I didn't know were even a language at first. Actually, this last weekend, I wrote in Arabic, and there was luckily I did have somebody right there while I was doing it that was able to translate some of it. I have, I think the most odd one that I've done was Sumerian. They couldn't completely translate it, but they said it looks like it was a form of like Sumerian language. But if I'm doing it, just like doing a normal channel, like where I can, allow a spirit to really just, I don't want to say jump me because it's not always how it works, but it is letting them be able to use you to either get a message across. Most of the cases, especially if you're dealing with passed away people, that's going to be the main reason that they're wanting to use you as a channel, like I was mentioning, to get get this key to my my loved ones. They need to find what's in this box, and such. I've also, when working with different spirits in this witchy world, I've like Sekhmet, the Egyptian goddess. That was very interesting. I with her, I used a lot of scrying with the black mirror, and like even looking into it, it was like watching my whole face, my face change, and picking up imagery of what she was trying to tell me, that sometimes we have to step past fear, especially with her. She kept showing this flame, like have to step past the fire, not be afraid to kind of like go through this. It was more of a spiritual type fire. It was not one that jump in a fire, get yourself burned. No, it was more of to reach like ascension, or to move up, little, like to level up, I guess you'd say. You have to kind of push yourself at times, and it was what I needed at that moment. But yeah, it was really interesting because the symbolism. I would not have thought that she would give me the imagery of a phoenix, but that came across clear. And so yeah, that was a really interesting working. But channeling can be interesting. It can be overwhelming because you can get stuff that just literally just seems kind of crazy or insane, but then you relay back and it's very, very valid.
Channeling a spirit where it comes into your body to communicate with you. That is one of the weirdest things I personally have experienced, and I know others have as well. For people who may not know what that's like, what's it like having a spirit enter your body and use all of your muscles, all of your vocal cords and everything to speak through you?
That is, yeah, you're right. It is a very awkward feeling because when I watch myself back, I'm like, ooh, number one, I like on Live Sci-Fi, I don't really, I don't go back and watch a lot of it. But I do and I don't, because I'm like, ooh, look at what I do when I start channeling, because I'll twitch. But it's because you're literally, something else is kind of moving your muscles and whatnot. And it can, watching it back is like, for me, it makes a lot more sense, but it's also like, I feel like it's like, ooh, I look like I have Tourette's or something, because the movements are so, like I've noticed at times I've had for whatever reason, a lot of my movements seem jerky, and I don't know if part of me is trying to push back a bit of that spirit, because sometimes it can be so overwhelming that you are still trying to maintain yourself in that, because I've always worried about completely letting something take over me, because I do want to still have control, because you never know when you're going to get a hold, or something's going to get a hold of you that really has ulterior motives, and can, who knows what could happen. But yeah, it's a very strange feeling, because you definitely can feel that presence. Not even like you can feel it, just like it's so much, like when your hair is raised on the back of your neck, but imagine that, but like almost like within you, like everything's got that weird chill and electricity in the air. Your whole body feels that way.
Does it happen often where a spirit will just walk into your body and take you over?
Not off. No. It's very funny. Like, it was something that I've always been very, I would say, I like to say lucky, because I can feel them come up before they, because I know a lot of people will just get jumped real fast and quick, and not be able to push it back. But I will literally like kind of raise, and realize that there's something near, and it's like trying to press, and it sounds funny, but press into you. Like the way I best can describe it best is when they're trying to really work on jumping in is like when somebody, like if you're at the line in store or something and somebody just stands uncomfortably close to you, that's what happens right before they're trying to jump. And but I can kind of like push, which is funny. If you learn how to work your energy, you can really kind of push back and put like this a little bit of a wall there, especially if you're not quite sure what is trying to jump you.
Bonnie Woodruff is our guest tonight, talking paranormal on Spaced Out Radio. I have a question from Cloudy here in our chat room. Do ashes from a family member or pet have a chance to contain the spirit of said person or animal?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's their DNA. So yeah.
Can they haunt a place?
Hmm. Yes. I know, I mean, I've known of other people that had to actually take out their loved one's ashes because it was just causing kind of disruption. Not negative, but it was just, it's not something they were comfortable with. So I'm like, oh, well, you need to take grandma out. Like put her in the garage. And that might not be the best, but you do have to kind of, especially if it's a stronger spirit or energy, like wrap them. Always go to is a black cloth, like wrap it in black cloth, because that will kind of help, like douse the energy a bit. Like it kind of contains it better. That's what I do. Like I say, when the Ouija boards and things like that are just got an energy that I'm not really wanting to expose to my own.
Another question coming from Eugene in Philadelphia, who is asking, who are these beings that inhabit you and where are they from?
Hey, Eugene. Different places. I've had, like I said, working with the goddess Sekhmet, I actually working with her so much that she was in particularly really strong, and she was a lot better at jumping me than any other spirit I've actually worked with, and that even the dead. She, I, because she was not just quite a human, she was lioness, and she had she had that primitive vibe to her, like when people were, because I'm normally a very, very kind, forgiving, sweet, sweet person. And one of the reasons I was working with her is learning to draw lines boundaries with people, because she's great at helping, a person learn to maintain boundaries, being able to say no. And I remember, like even my friend goes, you have been feisty since you've been working with her. But it was like, because she was really, I teased jumping me so much so that I would really learn how to, and when were these appropriate times. This is a time you say no. And I mean, like, there were moments that, yeah, like it just would happen so quick that it was interesting. Now, as far as like that, when it comes to people that have passed away, I mean, oddly enough, and this doesn't happen to me often, like coming across a person or a family member. I've come across a couple of family members, but it's not like you would think, oddly. But I did have a friend that was had supposedly committed suicide. And because he wanted his children to know that that's not the case, that's not what happened. He was jumping in, and literally I was very graphic because I saw everything, which I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he was aware that's what was going to happen. So I had to see the whole scene of what went down. And so, yeah, sometimes it can be a human. And sometimes it can be like, if you're wanting to work with things, it's some spirits are just, or some like deities are very responsive to that. So they don't mind like helping you get a clear picture of what they're wanting you to see. And that's what it is. It's like they will put that, you will see almost through what I would call their eyes, how they're seeing things. You'll know the difference because it is not something that you would normally like create in your head. It'll be way off. I mean, especially when it comes to scenes of, like, when it comes to, like, my friend, being able to describe the room that I had not been in, to the family. Um, that was even, I think because it was somebody that I knew personally and that was very close to, that was quite disturbing because I felt like I knew way too much. And unfortunately, there was only a handful I can do with that. Because you can't, like, go to the police and say, "Hey, here, I got some info for you." It doesn't work quite that way, unfortunately.
Okay, what about a spirit that comes to you that's in trouble? Maybe, it doesn't matter what the situation is. We could make up many scenarios on that, but a spirit that just, says, "Hey, I don't know what to
Mm.
do. I don't know where to go. I'm confused. What am I doing here? Who am I?" We see it all the time with a lot
Mhm.
of people in the paranormal, spiritual mediumship of, communication with the other side. How do you deal with that?
I like it sounds silly, but I deal with it on a case to case. Like, depending on, like recently, I come upon a little child, and she did not know that she had been hit by a car. When I first saw her, um, saw a little girl, and then she turned her side to the side, and her face was, like, gone, like, ripped away. And I'm like, "Oh, no." I kept at first, I was, like, trying to figure out why, like, what is, I thought, I didn't know if it was a deformity at first, and then I realized that she had been hit by a car, but she didn't, like, she wasn't aware that she was gone, um, but she was seemed to be very comfortable where she was, and from that, I can't, with the child, it was really hard. Because I guess because I'm a parent myself, I just didn't have the heart to say, "Hey, honey, you're not here no more. You're like Do you, and, like, I don't even know if she was, like, because she was like 11, 9 to 11. Like, I don't even know if she understood the concept of death, even to try to work on trying to pass her over or cross her over or whatnot. And now when other ones come over and they're confused, I have in the past, especially if they're just, like, in turmoil, I will let them know that they're past. When it comes to an adult, I guess you say spirit, I will let them know, "Hey, you know, you have this is what's happened. You are not long. You're no longer here. Um, if you want to cross, I can help you. If you don't want to, that's fine too. I'm not one of those that force out every spirit to cross over. I just don't. I would want that respect and that choice myself. I try to be as respectful as I can. Um, but yeah, I've taken, and I've taken them recently, not on purpose, but yeah, I have before taken them home and helped them fix what it was that they were needing help with, and then they'd go on their own after you kind of help them with whatever their issue is.
How do spirits normally react when they find out that they are dead?
Um, uh, some I've had the female recently that dealing with it's like is she I think she really knew anyway, but there's been a few times it was kind of angry. Other times it was like it all made sense, and they were just like at ease. They were at peace. At least they knew that the confusion or this weird for them, like what it seems to be is like they're stuck in, like, this groundhog day of a nightmare over and over, and they just um, like the never ending nightmare that they can't wake up out of. And once they realize that, no, this is not a nightmare, this is, you're gone and you just did not realize it, then, sometimes they act peaceful. I've had many act very okay with it. And, a lot of times at that point, there's usually most of their family's already gone too by the time you get to that level. But there's an occasion where they're not too happy. I feel like, or they feel, I think, kind of like cheated, especially the ones that have been taken by murder or by a horrific type accident. Those are ones that typically kind of get more feisty.
What would cause a spirit to take it out on you, though? You know, is it because they, like, how are they drawn to you that they could communicate with you?
I like to kind of go back to what my mentor taught me a long time ago. And he said, okay, Bonnie, do you know, like, I think he used the reference of Finding Nemo. He's like, you know, the anglerfish that's at the bottom of the ocean, you know, the one with the light. I said, yeah, that's you. Like, what do you, I said, uh-oh. He's like, yeah. He's like, not every fish has a light in front of it. And so when you're at the bottom of the ocean and it's dark and not everybody can see or talk or respond to you, and you're not understanding why people are not communicating to you, but they see this light, yeah, they're going to come knocking. And so that's kind of, it made a lot of sense to me, because I realized, okay, they just see that I am someone that they can go to that will communicate with them.
NGK has a question. So how does a person with gifts guide people to cross to the other side? Do you do a ritual or simply ask to follow the light?
I love that. Yeah, that I like that. It's so simple to say, "Hey, go to the light." You know, Carol Ann. You know, no, it's honestly, it is more that, you know, yes, there is a per se light, I guess, in a sense, from what I've worked, from the way I've done it, the few times that I have. A lot of them want to stay around. My grandmother wants to actually stay here until my dad's gone, which is weird. But they will just, I was like, all right, now it's like, you know, that a lot of them will know when you talk about the light, it is something that when they first pass, if they like, I know this sounds silly, but when, like on the movie Ghost, you know, when they first see that light and they have that chilling, like they just kind of missed that that little opening. It's always there, honestly, for them to just kind of go towards, right? And to me, and I caught this, and I have it on my YouTube channel. I caught it on camera. And it's this. The only way I can explain it is like this little, like on the video, there's this tree, and above it, and it's significant to me because it's the exact same moment that I know my children's father passed away. But it's like this light, it doesn't burst out, but it actually implodes. It's like, so it's like like the only way I know to call it, the only thing I can call it is like this portal or this wormhole when they have that chance where their spirit just can go over, you know, or can just leave. A lot of times, like there's a lot of them, like my children's father realized that he can still contact or connect even after crossing, because I mean I know that he went, but then of course, like, he was trying to let the boys know that, you know, he loves them, and he's, you know, he was concerned, but he kind of, in fact, my oldest had to tell him, stop, you're frightening me, you know, and because he was like getting a little bit loud. He didn't realize that some of the knocking was a little bit too much for my oldest. He was like, no, I can't, no, Mom, I can't do this. We got to do something about Dad. It was funny because, yeah, they just typically have that chance, and if you kind of like let them know that light is there for them, that they can still cross into that wormhole. That term is so funny to me, but yeah, if they can go back into that it's always there for them. They just have to pull into that energy.
I'm going to get you to hold on right there, Bonnie, because we are going to go to break here at the bottom of the hour on Spaced Out Radio, talking paranormal, ghosts, channeling. We're going to get into more spiritual talk on Spaced Out Radio right after this. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Mm-hmm. There was a question from Brian about UFO news in the chat room. We will, if things happen the way we do it here on the show, if things happen, we will be able to have an immediate guest change and break into that news if something major happens. So, say for instance, it's coming up to June 1st, where probably the month of May and June, we're going to do a lot more UFO stuff leading up to June 1st when the 180 days are over for the UFO files. We are going to be concentrating a lot more on UFOs at that point. But if anything breaks on that, and let's just say hypothetically we have a guest talking about Bigfoot that night, we will reschedule that guest to do a UFO type panel on that situation, because we do need to be able to break into that and be current and upfront. The hard part about our schedule is we are literally booked anywhere from 3 to 6 weeks in advance. So that's kind of where it gets a little bit difficult, but we will do our best as the UFO world starts to take a little bit more notice going into May and June, or if something breaks before that, we will do it. Right now, it's more like a bunch of headlines eking out. We will tackle those topics, and we will make sure that we do get to them. So you're going to be covered with lots of UFO stuff coming up here, and especially in May and June, and we'll have it all set up. So we'll get it taken care of. Don't worry. We got you covered on that. Yes, I did hear of the USS Kidd incident. That's pretty cool. With the drones, that's pretty phenomenal. Pretty phenomenal. We'll be reading that one up tonight in the news. So we'll make it happen. Hey, Justin Goodearth. Hey, Jason Tussler. How you doing? Thanks for joining us. Gary the Dutchman. You're Dutch. Just want to say that. And go from there. Yes. I had hot wings, and I had a pound of hot wings and a pound of honey garlic wings for dinner tonight. I feel totally manly right now. Hi, Terrible Times. Just for the record, I know you can't see our guest. She has incredible teeth. Incredible teeth. You can tell by those teeth that she brushes and flosses at minimum 2 times a day. Minimum.
I try.
Brian, you're a New York Mets fan. Okay, you can't be insulting the World Series champions of 27 times. You can't. It's impossible. Hi, Alicia Snyder. Nice to see you make another comment. Hi, Rooted in Gorgeous Sacredness. How are you? My gifting site, Cat Chaser. I'm not going to be able to get to my Bigfoot gifting site for probably another 3 to 4 weeks at minimum, because the snow in that area will still be quite heavy. And trust me, I am jonesing to get out there. We'll get into that, Michael Lestuka. Totally get into that. Good Ukrainian kid, Michael Lestuka. Having fun yet?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Lots of fun.
That's what we do. We got about 1 minute. Hey, Vinster, how you doing, buddy? Nimkish, nice to see you. Brian, I want to read the magazines you're reading, because you're delusional that the Mets are better than the Yankees. Delusional. Dark Moon Rising, welcome to the show. All right, we are going. Is that you?
That's me.
Oh, that's you. That's
Yes.
that's our friend Benita.
And yes, I have actually had the
Did you hit that
well,
subscribe button?
yes, I did.
Good. All right, we got 10 seconds here. Hi, gorgeous Simply Coco. Eric, Kat, and Mike, thank you for the super chats. We're going to rock and roll here with the second half of the show right now. Second half hour of, or make that the second half of Spaced Out Radio is now underway. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We really do appreciate earning your listening ears. Welcome back, as we want to remind you that if you missed portions of this show or others, you can check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. We continue on with Bonnie Woodruff. We're talking paranormal stories all night long, and we appreciate you coming on in. Bonnie, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
All right, we have a couple of questions from our audience here for you, if you don't mind. And number one, we'll go to unexplained possibilities in our YouTube chat right now. What is a paranormal experience you would like to have? Also, is it possible for someone to be the eye of paranormal energy, meaning things happen around them but never to them? So let's go with the first part of that question about what's a paranormal experience you would love to have.
Oh, well, I'm trying to think. I guess maybe like the seeing actual manifestations doesn't happen as I would sounds so funny, as much as I would like. Like I have had them and such, but it's not a constant. So I guess I would enjoy seeing the little people like actually like manifesting in front of me more often. And as far as this thing, yes, there are some people that are, I call it, they are haunted. I like in some ways yes, I have abilities as well, but I tend to be that, like people that have never had a paranormal experience. I've had at least 3 to 4 people that have had them. Just they tease. It's like, it's your fault. And like, and they've actually mean it. They weren't too happy with me at first. They thought that I like somehow caused them to, he wasn't even attacked, to be honest. He fell, but my coworker, we were painting where I work, and it is a mental hospital, for, the sick in the mind. And then before that, it was a World War II, a prisoner of war camp. So it's got a lot of energy anyway. And we were painting on a dorm that was closed and locked, and nobody else had access to at the time except for us. And he thought one of the other maintenance guys got in and like pushed the door, and because he was painting the bottom of the door, and pushed him over. And I just stood up and walked out because I felt it. I knew that something came through. It wasn't really even concerned with us there, to be honest. But the door pushing was enough to like, nope, no, I'm done. We left needless to say, we left that building and did not go back that day at all.
If I were to experience anything paranormal that I haven't, I would love to be able to see something move. So many times, and I've had a lot of paranormal experiences over the years, but I've never seen that glass move across the counter, or the tap turn on, or the door open right in front of me. I don't know why. I feel like I'm missing out because I want some of that action. I just do.
It that is actually always phenomenal. Like I've seen it, like 3-4 times. Not often. It's not much, but I honestly every time my jaw just still drops. Even though I'm used to this more than a lot of people are, but I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Do it again. Of course, that's usually I'm not a show monkey, and I'm not doing it again. That was just because you were frustrating me. But yeah, no, it's interesting. It's a little bit unsettling at first because you're okay, that just happened, and you have to like try to comprehend it, and it's a little bit sometimes.
All right. The second part of that question from Unexplained Possibilities is it possible for someone to be the eye of the paranormal energy, meaning things happen around them, but never to them?
Around them, well, like to them, meaning that they don't literally like speak or like if or they're a medium of some kind. Yeah, I feel like some people are just more prone to be haunted, is what I call it. That's a haunted person. They just might not be fully aware of what's happening around them. I feel like that's kind of like, okay, my sister, she did realize it growing up, but it's one of those things. It's like not paying much attention. So I would say being more aloof to it. So yes, I do think that there are people that are a magnet for things as such, and they just are not typically tuned into it.
All right. Michael wants to know, out of all the experiences that you have you ever had any that have led to extraterrestrial encounters?
Um, and this is where I talk. This is where I get. No, it's not silly, but as much as I've dealt with this, is where I kind of get a little bit scaredy cat. But yes, I have. I have to. I can't use my spirit box as much anymore these days because it's tuned into a different frequency nowadays. Um, which I actually have a couple of those on my YouTube that you hear the different pitches, and I'm going, okay, what? Like I looked at the box, like, what station is this? Okay, I'm not liking this. I realized it does. It started all happening, and it's like it messed up my spirit box. At this one particular place that it's right over the Red River, like the Texas-Oklahoma border. There's a lot of interesting places about that land in the first place. I feel like that might just be a spot for that type of activity. Bridge, you got just it's very interesting because I feel like there are certain places that just seem to get more of that ET type activity, I guess you would say. So yeah, I've had that. Explain Possibilities, which is he's had me on a couple of times too, and he teases. He's like, he always says, when are you gonna get? You're fixing to get another visit, and I'm like, dude, if I look out my window and there's somebody else looking in, me and you are going to fight because, like, I am aware of it, but I don't think I think it would literally scare the poo out of me because that's I don't know why, but that's like, I guess sage doesn't work. I don't know about it. I feel like that safe or protected. So yeah, I feel a little bit more and I feel very unarmed when it comes to that. And yes, so I have gotten it. And they like to I have realized they do like to work with my lighting. So when I get lights flickering, that's not spirits usually. It's they're usually hanging around, and I guess I kind of realize that, quote unquote, I'll get a visit. It's just, I'm like, oh, you don't have to warn me. Just do it, and don't let me remember like always. I'll just wake up with weird bruises again. We're good.
Do you think you've been taken?
Yes, and yes. Yes, I do. I like, again. I'm glad I don't remember it. I had for the longest, and that's honestly unexplained helped me a lot with that. I had this being painting like I do, I would have to cut in and I would be on my knees at times, but it got to where I could not put any weight or anything on on my left knee. It would send this sharp shooting pain at my leg, and he's like, "Oh, you probably have a what's it called? I don't even know. Like an implant." I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "Okay, dude. Like, are you like for real?" He's like, "No, seriously." And he's like, he's like, "Maybe you just ask them politely." Like, it's like, "Ask them. How am I going to ask?" He's like, "Just say it." They might respond. And I said, "Okay, you guys, if y'all are out there, could you please move it because this is killing my knee. This ain't all right." And and it was not, but like 2 months later, that I noticed that I could actually put weight, and I'm like, okay, that's super weird. I'm just going to pretend that that's okay. We're just going with it. So yeah, I do. I have had um, bruises that there is no explanation. Doing what I do, you do learn to make sure. Okay, is this person like scratching them? I pay attention to everything I do in my sleep, and I wake up. I'm not a very hard sleeper, but I have started to pay attention when I sleep super hard and don't wake up. That is typically the time that I'm going to wake up super exhausted, even though I slept hard, and with bruises that I have no idea where they came from. Yeah, I've actually it's been weird. At first, I just really didn't want to even entertain it, but it's yeah, it's a thing.
When's the last time it happened?
Oh, about 4 months ago. And Melvin said, and my friend, he tells me that I'm due for another visit soon, and I don't like it when he says that because he's typically right.
What's a little aliens among friends?
Oh my gosh.
How can you be afraid of aliens and yet you'll delve into demonic stuff? You would sooner dance with the devil than play with a few little, alien grays.
Oh, because I was the child that was terrified of the movie E.T. I remember, my mom, I remember seeing it, and and not even wanting to look at the screen, just turn my head because it was just terrifying to me. And I don't know. Yeah, I would much rather work with an entity that at least I can kind of understand that energy exchange. With this other, I have, you know what I mean, no real complete clue. Like, I feel like I don't normally feel like it's a threatening feel for on the most part, but I do feel like the way I kind of trying to see it is they're going to be like most things. They're going to be good ones and bad ones. I just really don't want to run into a bad one.
I mean, you would sooner play with the devil, have a game of chess with the devil.
Absolutely.
For your soul, than play with some aliens. Do you know how that... I mean, let's see. The strongest evil entity in the universe, if he exists, compared to a 4-foot gray that you could probably flick in the forehead and they'll go flying across the room.
And he could probably melt my brain too.
The devil. Burn for eternity.
Melting brain. Priorities.
I'm just lost here. I'm just lost. My goodness. Well, NGK in our chat room says, I feel with Bonnie, aliens are much worse.
Thank you, NGK.
I don't get it. Bonnie Woodruff is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. She's not admitting that she's got aliens tonight, but that's okay. That is very much okay. Bonnie, do you ever use ritual magic in order to communicate with the spirits on the other side?
Yeah, I do.
Do you want to get into
Yeah,
that? Are you comfortable with getting
no,
into
no,
it?
no, yeah, absolutely, no. I mean, like, it was, um, I've done different channelings and such, during investigations, and, well, there was a person that ended up possessed that not, it, like, literally a person that was driving past the home we were doing, and, yeah, the guy comes up, he was a security guard, but he, like, and this is in Texas, but he did have a gun on him, and, um, he came to the house and, like, just kind of talked his way in, and then tried to get past the producer and everything, and tried to go to the certain room, and, like, we're like, "Dude, you gotta leave." Like, this guy, you could see it in his eyes, he did not know, was not home. You know what I mean? Like, something else was literally controlling him. And I was like, well, I think that worked. I definitely had been working prior to it with a certain entity, and it did make me laugh because it was very typical of that entity to use a security guard with because it was this kind of this rebellious type spirit, this, like, no, the law type, screw the law type personality, I guess you'd say. And I'm like, oh, well played, using a security guard with a gun. Next time, can you get an unarmed guard though? It was quite interesting. But yeah, so that's always interesting. It can amp up actually activity.
So, being intuitive, why would you use ritual magic to conjure up spirit if you already can?
Well, it depends. Like, for me, there have been times that especially when it comes to, like, shadow work, trying to, let's face it, we all have a hard time sometimes seeing our imperfections, like, within our personality, and things that we could probably improve. And, um, mine has been like, for the longest, I would just trust people too easily. And that, working with some of these, especially through ritual magic, has helped me learn that, hey, pay attention to these signs. Do not just, these are flags that they're out there. And so before, where I wouldn't even notice a flag, I'm actually picking up on it now. And sometimes there are hard lessons that they're not most fun to learn at times, but, um, life lesson wise, you learn a lot from it. So it has a lot of benefits, more benefits than it does anything negative at the end of the day.
All right. Nikki is asking, what kind of shadow work do you do? There are different types.
Right. I do a lot. A lot of mine had been because the abusive relationships, and and the experiences with being assaulted and such. I've had to do shadow work with that. Number one, like, oddly enough, because I felt like it was just more of a story, and not that it's not it's a great one. I love the story with Medusa and such, but Medusa came up through working her and Astarte. They both came work to me when it was dealing with rape and healing from those things. So literally with Medusa, it was, oddly enough, I used a mirror to look at myself, because I had to start seeing myself as not a victim anymore. Like, it removes that victim mentality. It's like, what is making you, it was literally, she was like, telling me, what makes you see a victim in this reflection here? So it was very odd that the whole mirror thing was used. It still gives me chills, because I had to see myself as who I was, strong. I survived it. I did not let that in me. I did not give up and just fall up, decide that, okay, well, this is it, I'm done. I kept on fighting, and that through that, there are other people that that can be helped, or that you can there when people don't know how to speak up or are afraid. Pay attention to these things. That was one thing I realized, is like, me not saying anything and speaking out, or at least shining light upon the person that did that to me, um, I was able to forgive myself for it because it was something that literally being empathic, it tore me up on a daily basis because I realized that I had left so many other people exposed to this person and I didn't do the right thing and just speak up my voice and not worry about what people thought of me. So I had to learn to forgive myself for that because it was not my fault. I didn't cause it, he did, and I shouldn't be guilty of what he may do in the future. That one was hard.
Very nice. Very nice explanation of that. As we have about 3.5 minutes before we have to go to break at the top of the hour, paranormally speaking, when you are communicating, whether it's through channeling, whether it's through ritual, whether it's through your own intuition and mediumship, does it matter the type of spirits that come through? Or let me rephrase that, pardon me.
Mhm.
Are the spirits different from the way you are projecting them? So are they different from mediumship comparatively to spiritual ritual, comparatively to channeling?
Sometimes, yes. Sometimes, now, well, okay, mediumship, like, I can, well, I would say, I just, there's two different things, I guess you'd say. Working with magic, it is literally more of I would call it channeling, literally having that energy pull into you and let you see through its perspective, show you what it needs to show you and such. But then when it comes to mediumship, you know, Aunt Aunt Jane walks in the room and wants me to pass a message, she will show me significant things. So it's a little bit different how that works, but it's a little fine line, the separation. But I think it's helped me learning to work with the others too. It just kind of broadened, I guess, things for me.
Hmm. So
Yeah.
can you tell what's coming in?
Yeah, sometimes, like, um, most like lately, and I guess it's because like when you open a gate, like, oh, you sometimes it's going to have a flood come through. So a lot lately, it's been more on the like entity wise, it's been more of that type thing. I'm in it like I've had the dead come quite often still, but it's just like I think I'm so overwhelmed and swarmed lately with working with entities that it's been a little bit more so of that. They'll still come. Don't get me wrong, because um, like recently when I left that one place, there was actually a victim that had been murdered and such, and she definitely. What's just weird is she knew that I could help her get the justice that she didn't get because who murdered her. They knew who murdered her, but because they had legal ties, this person's crime was not exposed and they never spent a day in jail for it. And so she's like, yeah, magic though, you can help me. Like, oh no. I was like, how do they, it's like, okay, I can sense them, but how do they know so much about me? But it was, so I guess it kind of, it seems to work both ways. So yeah, like literally she came and she said, help me. And then I realized when she said, help me, it wasn't like trying to get her to cross. And I was like, oh, okay. She knows that, number one, I can understand where she's coming from wanting that justice. And then, of course, work with the different entities to get that for her.
So this takes us to the final half hour of the show where we're going to get into spells and rituals and dogs walking through the screen and and everything along those. So dogs walking through the screen. We're watching each other on Skype, and our beautiful husky just walked through, and I just love big dogs. I really do. But Bonnie, you hold on. We're going to take a break here, going into the top of the hour. We have Bonnie Woodruff talking paranormal all night long. We have her for another 30 minutes here before we're going to get to the SOR Newswire and the Thought of the Day. Stay tuned. We got a jam-packed hour number 3 coming up for you here on Spaced Out Radio with Bonnie Woodruff as our guest. All right, we're clear? I'm just going to run my dogs outside. I'll be right back, okay?
Sounds good.
The Space Travelers Club is a place where you can interact with other listeners, either live during the show or on our great forum. We want your stories, pictures, comments, and ideas. You'll get live video streams, exclusive content, and be a part of our newsletter. Stay in touch with everything SOR. The Space Travelers Club is just $5 a month at spacedoutradio.com.
Hello, Space Travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month and follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye!
We are scouring the world for the most intriguing stories of your day. Take the time to read up on the SOR Newswire, where our team, led by Captain Shirk, will deliver to you some of the best paranormal and supernatural news, along with some stories that will blow your mind from the weird to the wacky. It's the news outside the news that piques interest, and that's what we're looking to deliver to you. The SOR Newswire, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
I'm feeling a little spicy tonight. What to do? What to do?
Why not get Bumblefuck?
4 million Scoville units of pure hard rock. Bumblefoot hot sauces come in 3 flavors. The burning bumble. Tone it down a bit with Bumblicious and throw the sauce on everything.
Spice it up. Bumble me, baby. Bumblefoot hot sauce. Get it today at kajans.com.
The SOR Vault is open for business, and do we have some cool swag for you to pick up? All you have to do is head over to our website and click on the SOR Vault. You have a variety of cool logos to choose from, and put them on anything you want. T-shirts, hoodies, hats, coffee mugs, you name it, we can get it to you. So do your shopping by supporting the story you love. Get your Spaced Out Radio swag at the SOR Vault today.
Hey, space travelers, this is John Resig, founder of the Chive and Chive Charities. If you know anything about our website, you know we like to do things a little differently. We're not some faceless organization collecting money for a nebulous cause. Our donor dollars go directly toward life-improving items. Then we give those items directly to an underdog who needs it most. To become a donor with Spaced Out Radio's official charity, Chive Charities, just go to chivecharities.org/donate.
We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio, and while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and...
All right, I am back. All right. So once again, when we get to break at the bottom of the hour, just sit right through and I will say goodnight properly to you.
Alrighty.
Yeah. And that's always a fun thing to do. Mm-hmm. We've got about 90 seconds.
Alrighty.
Yeah. Gonna be good. Yos. 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 All right. Thank you again to Eric, Cat Chaser, and Mike's Adventures for the awesome super chats. It's a great way to support what we do on this show, and we really do appreciate the love, man, and it really does help. Hello to Cat the Kit. You're looking gorgeous tonight. Thank you for joining us. And Fapster, how's Grandma Rose? Please give us an update. We'd appreciate that. And yeah, we're all ready. If you're brand new, don't forget to hit that subscribe button because we kind of like it when you do. It makes life a lot of fun and easy around here. So make sure you check that on out. And yeah, let's get ready to start the show here in about, 30 seconds. Yeah, we're going to have a good time here. If I missed any questions, please repost them. The chat room's moving really fast. Five seconds. Here we go.
Would you like to connect with us? Head to spacedoutradio.com for all your latest show info. Now, back to Dave Scott and SOR.
Here we go with the third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. Really do appreciate earning your listening ears. I want to say thank you to everyone tuned in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on TalkStream Live, Revolution Radio, and KPNL. All of our archives are free by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. It is Karyotype. Karyotype is your password. Use it wisely, space travelers, as the Clam sets a password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. For the final time tonight, paranormal investigator, clairvoyant, medium, Bonnie Woodruff is our guest. She also practices magic rituals. We're going to get into that and a little bit more here as we got her till the bottom of the hour. Bonnie, welcome back.
Yes, nice to be here.
It's good to have you here as well. Magic rituals, for a lot of people who may not understand what they are. Explain that.
Okay, well, number one, magic is basically manifesting. You can shape your own reality, I guess is what some would put it. Literally, or taking energy and directing it in a more useful way. Because before I ever worked with magic at all, I would notice that yes, if my moods and stuff were like, if I was dealing with something and not handling it properly, things would kind of go haywire. And I realized if I channel that energy the right way, it would make things so much better. And honestly, you can hone it in to make good things happen instead of just chaos. So yeah, that's kind of how that started. And so when it comes to what do I work with? Well, I've worked with, Egyptian gods and goddesses both. The only reason I worked with was once. I think it was Horus, yes, because I have a cousin that her children are Egyptian. But it was literally, I didn't really work with him. It was like, he came to me as I want this child to start paying attention and noticing us too. Because, he was raised in more of just a Christian fashion instead of just, basically they were trying to get his attention. But I have worked with angels and I have worked with demons now. The demon thing scares people, but the thing where the way I look at it, and this is even how because being raised the way I was, it was not because I was very open with what I do, and obviously my family was like, what are you working with? I was like, well, okay, why would it be that only angels or angelic beings have something good to teach you? Why can't you learn lessons? So you're not going to go to a dentist for an earache. If there is something you need to learn, maybe a negative aspect or how to deal with negative people or situations, that's sometimes where you have to go. And so it's honestly, it was, I was not like really, it was very nervous about because of the way I was raised. That was always in the back of my mind at first. And then I realized that they have a lot to teach us too, and what you do with it is what's important. Just because a person is into demonology does not mean that does not equate that they worship that demon. I kind of consider myself more of an agnostic. I know that there's something bigger out there, and I think it's probably, we'll go there and say the ET thing. I do not think it is from this planet at all. It created it, but so I work with both sides, and I feel like light and dark is also just an aspect. I think we all have both of them in us, and you just need how to balance those out and make them work together in order to create a more balance. It's like it is going to always be hard to keep a complete balance, but the more in tune with both sides of yourself that you are, it does make it a lot easier to go through.
Very cool. Very cool. Have you ever had to use ritual magic in a nefarious way?
Yes, I have. Well, I never did want to do that at first. And because of my, and funny thing is, even like, breakups and stuff, everybody's like, do you ever curse your ex? I was like, I've never done it. I never did do it on purpose before. I mean, but when you do not tune in and you do not learn to control your emotions, guess what? People are very, very capable. Our minds are very, very curious things, because we can do things that we're not even realizing we're doing. And you can call that and check that under magic, because it's almost like it's kind of equivalent to when, I feel like my mom's going to call, and then they call. It's that kind of thing. It's just manifesting it. So yes, I have, and it was because, and this was going through working with something. I was not getting over an ex, and it wasn't because I still had feelings for him, but because the abuse had been so bad, I literally just kind of digging up the grave over and over and over, and I realized to get past it, I needed the justice, because I had gone and tried to. I went to the police. I turned it in. I did the paperwork. I tried to do everything correct at that time, and to protect anybody behind, that was to be his unfortunate next victim, and justice, like the legal system, unfortunately just didn't work for me. Even though I did try to go that route, and I needed closure. I needed to know that in some way or form that he was going to pay. And that's the thing, is my request was to make nobody be able to love him the way, because he had this big ego that he very, 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 also very controlling and such. But my main request was for people to see him for exactly what he was, and that he go through that other people hurt him the way he's hurt other women, because I was not his only victim. I found out later.
Right.
So Yeah, he had a couple of.
I think you made your point on that.
Yeah, he's
I
made a couple of accidents.
Yeah. All right, I have some audience questions here for you. And let's start off with Brian, getting back to your ET experiences. He is asking, did you have any evidence that you had an actual implant inside of you, or did you just have knee pain?
Well, was never able to I know I've had known people that have tried to cut out and such, but as far as proof, no, I can't say that, except for I have had trouble getting through the security at airports every time I go. Every time I go, they have to pat me down. Like they'll send me through, and and it's usually in my ankle. Oddly enough, they'll I'll beep and they'll pat my leg and like pull down my socks, make sure that there's nothing there, and there never is. So it's just odd things like that that I cannot explain, because I know I don't have any like bone like leg replacements or ankle replacements or anything like that that should be doing that at all. So yeah, that's always kind of weird for me. Every time I go through it, I'm like, I hope I don't, and I do every time, every time.
All right, let's get to another question. This one from Nikki, who is asking, do you work with what she would refer to as hierarchy beings, angelic and the like, or are you only working with entities?
No, it's both. I work with I have worked with the archangels, different ones. Because when it comes to healing, like Raphael is going to be a healer. That's just kind of like where I would suggest people to go to if you need healing of some sort. If you are needing like justice, I have worked with Tyr because of my my heritage. The Tyr is the Norse god of justice and the sky, but I've worked with Tyr, and then of course I've worked with Belial, who is also very a go-to demon, or when it comes to the goetic demons, that would be another one that will get you justice. He's actually quite I've seen things happen like immediately with Belial. But Tyr does just as well, depending on sometimes it's just what you feel more comfortable working with.
All right, let's move on to another question here. Michael is asking, is it normal for spirits or the dead to visit you in your dreams, meaning family members?
Yeah, well, it depends on like I said, I feel like a lot of people have the gifts, they just don't know what they might be. Some people, that's their gift, is they will vividly speak with the past person in their sleep. And so, yeah, that's very, very normal. And if it is somebody coming to you, I would that's to those sort of people, I would always say, keep a dream journal, keep something down so that you can write and take notes. And then once you can be more aware of what's going on, then you can start working on, being able to be lucid and speak to them and ask questions and kind of control that dream so that you can make sense of what they're trying to tell you.
All right, let's get to Jenny's question. Jenny is asking, demons may teach you something, but what do they want in return? What we've been taught is they don't believe in freebies.
I have literally, with when I worked with Belial, it literally was telling them, just kind of telling us I guess somebody that was from my previous faith, letting them know that I did this and I worked with them. It was, okay, guess what, Mom, I worked with a demon. It was being able, I guess, to kind of just stand up. I have never once offered my soul. I have never offered it my children or anything like that. And so, no, it's not. I understand where people come from. I was raised we had confirmation, which is a lot like catechism in Catholic religion. So I was raised where this is a no-no, but it's definitely not what some, I guess you'd say, some sources have made it seem to be. I have had literally, like, one time, it was like working with this was the Celtic goddess, the Morrigan, but she just wanted me to dedicate so much time to her every day. And it wasn't really that painful. I think it was like 30 minutes to an hour a day.
Why?
Just to learn what she was trying to show me. And a lot of it was that when I was going through some really bad things, it was to stand up, to find that warrior within myself. Like, we all had that when we feel like that we're fixing to snap, that we can't handle anymore, to stand up and quit crying. And like, there was one day that I was in the bathroom. I went so that my kids couldn't hear me, and I was just my heart was broken. Like, this was right before we found out my boy's dad was dying, or right at the time we found out he was dying, and I just was tired of having to be the ones to tell my children all this, when things would hit them. It was all left on me, and I just was like, I can't anymore. And I was crying and having my moment, and she's like, stand back up, because I had like just kind of balled up, and she, stand back up. This is not who you are. You're stronger than this. I'm like, oh goodness, And so it did. She gave me strength, and it was just a lot of times they're just reminding us who we are, that we are a lot stronger than we give ourselves credit for.
All right, let's move on to another question here for you. Off-World Adam is asking if you would consider yourself to be a necromancer.
I've gotten that. Yeah. Yeah, in ways. Well, technically, from a lot of people that I know, that when you work with the dead a lot, you are in sorts a necromancer. And I think that's why, like, people that do that, especially when it comes to people that are kind of witchy, they'll work with Papa Legba or like oh my goodness, Santa Muerte, because they're gatekeepers and such. It's not so much because they're trying to like cause negativity. It's because they're trying to help them understand these gifts and such. Because Santa Muerte has been one that's popped up for me quite often.
All right, let's get to NGK. Do you think that cursing somebody will have an impact on your soul when you die? Or do you think you were given these magic powers to do the justice?
Well, if it's not personally, I know there's some people that totally believe differently. But for me, like I said, I won't curse unless it's needed, or because you're dealing with a rapist, or you're dealing with somebody that has hurt children. Okay, there's if the law's not going to work, then sometimes sometimes things have to be done. And I feel like if you're doing it just because somebody hurt you and you can't get past it or whatever, and your feelings you're left with a bumped ego, then yeah, you might get some feedback, and you might get actually some crap hits you back in life. But on the other hand, if it's because this person was a horrible person, well then okay. I feel like it will kind of be like you're just kind of speeding up karma per se.
Okay. So for you, you don't worry about the retribution. You don't worry about the afterlife. You don't worry about, these favors that darker spirits have done, that they may all of a sudden, want your soul to burn in the pits of hell until eternity, or you're rescued by the Virgin Mary.
Because number one, I do know myself. I know where my heart, where I lie. And I do not, because so many things in the Bible, because I know it well, are not what exactly there's a lot left out of the Bible too. There's books, they find them, there's books that were just not put in there. And I feel like that's because man, at the end of the day, wrote the Bible. So yeah, you have it, it's a little skewed. And so I know who I am as a person. I know that I've never purposely hurt but a couple people, and that's because because I felt that it was justice for me at that point. But I sleep well at night. I'll put it that way. And
Uh,
I have like a lot of empathy. So yeah, I sleep well.
all right. Vinny is always looking for a date, wondering if you're single or not. He is wondering, what is your favorite movie about magic?
About magic. It's act some of them are so kind of, I guess I'll go with the craft, because there's just honestly some of them are so kind of far out there that it's really not at all what magic is. So yeah, I guess the craft. I prefer more of, like, I guess you'd say, like, the magic, like, of like Bram Stoker, like the Dracula. That movie, I love that, because to me the way he would, like, when his the Dracula's character would, like, see me and she turns around and looks, that's more like the magic I work with, where you kind of can just, it's like calling to their soul and them responding and not even realizing why they're responding. It's very interesting when you can do that.
Geez, I don't even know if I've seen any real, like, outside of Disney,
Yeah,
know,
no.
like,
It's hard. I'm like, oh, yeah, because sometimes it's just so cheesy.
yeah, like Narnia. Just makes you feel like a kid again.
Like, I love it. It's neat and it's fun and it's great to have that. Like, I guess that it's like, really neat if it did work that way and I could just do this and like wiggle a wand and clean up my room. That'd be great. But like literally, it's more of, like I said, like the Bram Stoker's where he tells her, "Look, see me," and she turns around and sees him. But like it was literally done through the head, the mind. Like was it telepathically? He told her, sorry, told her, and he turned. It was very interesting. I like that. I guess it's really hard to say.
We have less than 2 minutes with you, and this is a show that I had a lot of fun with. And I want to say a big thank you for coming on Spaced Out Radio. I hope you had a very good time with us tonight. And, I think you're good people. I think you're good people, and that needs to be brought forward. Do me a favor, if you don't mind. Take a minute or so to tell everybody where they can find your work, any podcasts you were on, etc.
Right. Okay. I'm on under Dark Moon Rising on YouTube. Bonnie Woodruff on Facebook. Raven Moon Tarot also on Facebook. That's my tarot page and where I do readings if somebody's needing that and such. And that's also on Instagram, Raven Moon Tarot. And also I have been on Live Sci-Fi, LIVESCIFI. And let me think. Sorry, and Unexplained Possibilities on YouTube. Yeah, I think that's it. My YouTube is actually where I have some of my things that I've caught that I just were interesting on video camera. I've lucked out with that quite often.
Well, that's cool. That's cool. Well, you continue to, do your magic, do your thing, go play with the ghosts and have some fun because, I hope we did enough where you're not going to, throw an eye of newt inside a boiling pot of water to cast a spell of demise on us here on the show. So I hope you had a good time, is what I'm saying.
I did. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And that is Bonnie Woodruff, everybody. She is a medium. She's psychic. She's a channeler. She's a magic practitioner. And you can find her on social media. Coming up next, we have the SOR Newswire. We have the Thought of the Dave. Stay tuned. A jam-packed final half hour of Spaced Out Radio continues right after this. Good job, Bonnie.
Thank you.
We'll give you a
Thank
few claps.
Yep.
Very good. Very good. Vinny, by the way, says, I love you. And
Aw.
yes, nobody knows where he lives. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't even think Vinny knows where he lives.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nobody knows where Vinny lives?
Oh, Mr. Cowley's in the room. We got to sing to him. Mr. Cowley, welcome back to the show. Oh, Mr. Cowley loves his spaced out radio. That's all I've got. That's all I've got. All right. Yeah, that was a good show. Good show. What are you staring at?
Oh my, I'm sorry. I was looking at my computer.
Cool.
Did I?
Cool.
No, I did not see a spirit.
Oh, weird. Weird. By the way, does the doll behind you blink? What color are her eyes? Can you bring her close?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I can. This is the one that she changed from.
Okay.
Yeah. Why did it look like? Did she blink? She might have blinked.
I think she.
Alice.
Earlier on, I swore she blinked.
Oh, it's Alice Ann. So yeah, there's Alice Ann likes to. She's very protective. Yeah. She's actually more protective over my boys, but I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Because from here, her eyes look red, and then it looked like she blinked and they went black a few times, and then.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll show you her old. Yeah, this is her old. Actually, this is hilarious. Her after she switched, and I've never known this to happen, but she did. She switched vessels, and once this was her old one, and I can see why she wanted to change.
Yeah.
This is pretty.
Yeah. Feeble.
She said the other one was not cool.
All right. Well, I got to let you go here because I got to get ready for the news. You enjoy your Pepsi.
I will. Well, thank you.
I haven't had a Pepsi since June 1st. So, yeah, I know. I'll be honest with you. I'm an addict to Pepsi.
I'm so sorry.
That's
you
all right.
didn't see it.
That's all right. Anyways, much love. Take care. Stay in touch.
You have a good one.
And we'll
Have a good one.
talk again. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Good night. Well, that was fun. That was fun. Mr. Cowley. Sovereign, what are you on tonight? You're all over the board. You're all over the board tonight. Do you have a buildup of gas in your tummy that makes your stomach hard? Is that what it is? Be honest. Vinny lives in Pound Town. Vin, I tried. I'm working for you here, Vinster. I'm like your wingman. Yeah, I liked her, Michael. I did. Okay, Sovereign, do me the favor. Turn the caps off because during the show, it's hard for me to define what is a question and what is not. Remember, I'm a one-man show here. One man. That's all I ask. Just turn the caps off. Hi, Susan B. How are you, Susan B? I know, Vin. I know. We got to wait for the Vegas party. You got to wait for the Vegas party. Then I'll be your wingman there, Vin. I'll get you signing autographs for me. How about that? Jurassic Joey, thank you. Appreciate that. Big thank you once again to Eric, Cat Chaser, Mike's Adventures for the awesome super chats. Really helps out what we do here on Spaced Out Radio. And you can support us through the super chat as well as giving us a thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs sideways. Hit that subscribe button. I'm very happy. We rolled over 11,000 today on our subscriptions. Here we go. We've rounded third. We're heading for home tonight on Spaced Out Radio. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We really do appreciate it. I want to remind you that if you missed most of this show or others, check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. Speaking of the news, let's do this thing. The news is always changing, which is why we bring you the SOR Newswire at the back end of every show, where we get to the weird, the strange, the wacky, and sometimes the aliens. Here's a weird one from the United States Navy off the coast of California. Several drones repeatedly swarmed Navy destroyers off the California coast in July 2019, and it remains unclear who was behind the brazen nighttime flights. According to a report from the website The Drive, as many as 6 drones flew around the warships at a time in often low visibility conditions near the Channel Islands over a number of days, with the drones flashing lights and prompting security precautions on board. The report was based mainly on Navy ship logs the Drive obtained through a Freedom of Information Act request, as well as publicly available ship tracking data. A documentary filmmaker, Dave Beatty, good guy by the way, a fan of this show, first uncovered some details about the drone flights around the USS Kidd, a Navy destroyer. The Navy did not respond to a request for comment. Now, this episode raised the possibility of a serious security breach. The drone flights took place near the San Clemente Island, which is home to sensitive military facilities, including a Navy SEAL training site, the Navy's only ship-to-shore live firing range, and an airfield. The mysterious drones flights prompted immediate inquiries from investigators and intelligence officers in the Navy and the FBI, including a special agent with the Naval Criminal Investigative Service, the FBI field office in LA, and the director of the Maritime Intelligence Operations Center within the Navy's 3rd Fleet, according to emails obtained by the Drive. The emails made it clear that the issue was getting high-level attention, all the way to the Office of the Chief of Naval Operations. Military authorities explored whether the Navy could have launched the drones without the knowledge of the destroyer's crew. It was unclear whether that was the case, according to the emails cited by the report. The drones were able to stay aloft for 90 minutes or more, surpassing the capability of commercially available drones, and covered at least 100 nautical miles in one case, the report said, citing the locations of the ships that reported spotting the aircraft. According to ship logs, the drones were also available to fly at the same speed as the destroyer, traveling at 16 knots in low visibility conditions, which is defined as less than 1 nautical mile of visibility. The first sighting of the unidentified drones came on the evening of July 14, 2019, with sailors on the Kidd reporting 2 UAVs, or unmanned aerial vehicles, in the ship's log. According to the handwritten deck log, the ship deployed an onboard intelligence unit known as Snoopy, or Ship Nautical or Otherwise Photographic Interpretation and Exploitation Team, to document the robotic craft. After the 2 drones were spotted, the Kidd took security precautions, restricting communications in a mode referred to in the ship's log as River City 1. 2 other Arleigh Burke-class destroyers then reported drones overhead, and the crews of the USS Rafael Peralta observed a white light identified hovering over the ship's flight deck, according to the ship's logs. This next night, on July 15th, drones showed up again. Late in the evening, the USS Russell documented a flurry of drone activity, with unmanned craft dropping in elevations and moving towards, forward, backward, and left and right. A passing cruise ship, the Carnival Imagination, made a radio call to the Rafael Peralta to tell the crew that the drones did not belong to the cruise ship. The crew told the Navy vessel that they had seen as many as 5 or 6 drones operating nearby, according to Peralta's logs. Even as the military officers tried to gather information about the incidents, more drones were spotted flying near warships in the early mornings of July 25th and July 30th, the report said. Now, are they drones? Are they UFOs? Right now, we don't know. We can only go by the official report, and it is getting serious, people. It is getting serious. Marco Rubio even spoke again today about the fact that they are having some serious issues with these unnamed and unmanned craft that are entering military installations and air ranges. Do you believe in ghosts? Of course you do. You listen to this show. It's a question that many in Lake County residents have found themselves asking over the past few weeks due to supernatural haunts caught on video. In recent weeks, members in Mentor, Ohio, have posted videos and images on Facebook of mysterious objects or people. This mysterious image appears to be all white, moving very quickly, and it's very strange. Now, officials with the Mentor Police Department were talked to about this, and they were able to retrieve the police report based on the information that was sent. In that report, it states the police officers were dispatched on March 10th around 10:40 p.m. to the area of Bellflower Elementary in reference to a suspicious incident. The caller reported seeing a 7-year-old girl running northbound in the area. As one officer approached Wyatt's greenhouse, he spotted a child fitting the description from the caller. I was surprised by what I saw. The person appeared to be a small child, running rather erect and too quickly for a child, the officer reports. When the officer got out of the vehicle to try and catch the child, nobody was there. The officer continued along the building, expecting to see a child crying or scared, but still no signs of anyone. Multiple other departments were searching the area and had no luck finding a child. After the search, the responding officer checked the dashcam video and found no child on the dashcam video, which was saved as an investigative encounter. Shortly after trying to find the child on foot and the use of a canine, the drone team was deployed to search the responding area and did not locate anything suspicious. So, was it ghosts? Was it young pranksters? The city, right now, does not know. You probably heard this one. Jensen Karp. Funny that he has a fish name and a fishy tail. Jensen Karp said he found shrimp tails inside a box of Cinnamon Toast Crunch, leading General Mills, which owns the cereal brand, to announce an investigation. Yeah, this past Monday, the comedian caused a social media furor when he tweeted a picture of his Cinnamon Toast Crunch cereal and tagged the brand's official social media account. At CTC Squares, why are there shrimp tails in my cereal? This is not a bit, Karp wrote, who is married to the Boy Meets World star Danielle Fishel. The photo, which has more than 75,000 likes, appeared to show 2 shrimp tails coated in cinnamon sugar mix in with the cereal next to the open cereal bag. Cinnamon Toast Crunch's official Twitter account responded an hour later saying it would report the claim to the company's quality team, and it later asked Karp to send the items to the company in an envelope so the company could take a closer look. The brand addressed the allegation after an initial investigation and in a tweet reply. After further investigation with our team that closely examined the image, it appears to be an accumulation of the cinnamon sugar that sometimes can occur when the ingredients aren't thoroughly blended, the statement said. It added, "We assure you that there is no possibility of cross-contamination with shrimp." Karp responded with 2 additional photos that showed close-up that looked like the items in question. After further investigation with my eyes, these are cinnamon-coated shrimp tails, you weirdos, he wrote. I wasn't all that mad until you tried to gaslight me. Karp then shared several more tweets that chronicled his Cinnamon Toast Crunch saga, including photos that appeared to show a black speck cooked into the cereal. He also claimed to have found a piece of string among the cereal box. This man must love his Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I wonder how many boxes he bought of this just to prove his point. Update. He says, my wife has a stronger stomach than me and checked the other bag in the family pack. This one seems taped up. Also appears to include, and I don't even want to say, dental floss. Karp said that the black specks would be lab tested and that he went back to Costco to ask the store about the items. In a most recent update, Karp shares screenshots sent to him via direct message from Cinnamon Toast Crunch Twitter account. He said it was the first time the brand had reached out to him since he asked him to send the suspected shrimp tails for evaluation. I won't be giving you the stuff, Karp said, adding, again, your tweet calling it sugar was super weird, and the fact that you haven't said anything to the contrary doesn't allow me to trust you with it at all. In a statement sent to via email to General Mills, said it was investigating the matter and denied that the incident happened at a company facility. While we are still investigating this matter, General Mills pointed out, we can say with confidence that this did not occur at our facility. We are waiting for the consumer to send us a package to investigate it further. Any consumers who notice their cereal box or bag has been tampered with, such as the clear tape that was found in this case, should contact us. Karp told Insider he wanted General Mills to investigate the incident in the interest of people with food allergies. I just want General Mills to admit it's shrimp tails and then investigate it so others who maybe have shellfish allergies don't have the same result. Well, there we go. It's a fishy tale, isn't it? Now, here is something cool. NASA always seems to have these little Easter eggs when they do a launch. All right? So NASA has traced the lineage of its innovative Ingenuity Mars helicopter all the way back to the first flight of Orville and Wilbur Wright undertook at Kitty Hawk in 1903. A tiny piece of fabric from the famous Wright aircraft is now in residence on the Red Planet, tucked under Ingenuity's solar panel. In a NASA briefing, Ingenuity Chief Engineer Bob Balaram revealed that the surprise package, which he described as being the size of a postage stamp, an unbleached muslin material, which comes from a wing covering, draws a connection between the first powered controlled flight here on Earth and what NASA hopes will be the first powered controlled flight on another planet. Ingenuity could take off as early as April 8th, but first it has to be delivered to its Martian airfield location by the Perseverance rover. It also has to go through an extensive series of checks before it attempts to take off and hover about 10 feet above the planet's surface. The Perseverance rover is a couple of days away from the helicopter drop-off spot, a relatively flat and clear area in the Jezero crater. Once Ingenuity is unfolded and set down on the ground, the rover will carefully move away to make sure the rotorcraft solar panel can work to its power batteries or to power its batteries and keep it warm through the cold night. The rotorcraft's mission is scheduled to last 31 Earth days, but the first night might be the most critical. While getting deployed to the surface will be a big challenge, surviving that first night on Mars alone without the rover protecting it and keeping it powered will be an even bigger one. The rover will set up shop at an overlook site to attempt to capture images and the video of Ingenuity's short's first flight. If the initial hovering exercise goes well, then NASA will try out longer and higher flights. The entire flight zone covers an area of about 300 feet long, which gives Ingenuity plenty of room to stretch its blades if needed. The 4-pound helicopter is a technology demonstration, an experiment that could show if this sort of flight is even possible under tricky conditions of Mars. The planet's thin atmosphere and blustery winds make it a challenging place for Ingenuity to operate. If it works, it could open the doors for new forms of exploration on other worlds. Now, when I'm reading that, does anybody else think of the movie WALL-E? And you got Eve, Eva. Doesn't everybody think that? You remember when Eve is flying around taking pictures of Earth to see if there's any sign of life, of plants? so that way the humans could go back? That's what this almost seems like. At least to me it does. Eva. Wally. Bald eagles, once on the endangered species list in the United States, are now thriving. How cool is this? The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service said in a news report that bald eagles have quadrupled in size since 2009. Over 316,700 bald eagles and more than 71,400 nesting pairs were present in the lower 48 states during the 2019 breeding season. This is truly a historic conservation success story, U.S. Secretary of the Interior Deb Haaland said. The bald eagle has always been considered a sacred species to American Indian people, and similarly, it's sacred to our nation. The strong return of this treasure bird reminds us of our nation's shared resilience and the importance of being responsible stewards of our land and waters that bind us together. Bald eagle populations severely declined in the lower 48 states between 1870 and 1970 because of hunting, habitat loss, and the use of DDT, a powerful insecticide that made bald eagle eggshells so weak they couldn't produce viable offspring. In 1963, there were said to be only 417 breeding pairs, and in a national effort to save the iconic bird, the federal government banned the use of DDT in 1972. The bald eagle was then placed under protection of the Endangered Species Act, which allowed the government to protect the habitats of the bald eagles. Bald eagles were removed from that list in 2007 and are now protected under the Bald and Golden Eagle Protection Act. Love that. Absolutely love that. Such a gorgeous bird, the bald eagle. I had one fly over my house yesterday. We got a bunch of them up here, and they are gorgeous. They're just fantastically gorgeous. Moving on. All right, we got time for two more here. Anybody watching this whole Suez Canal thing where the cargo ship is stuck? Well, get this. If you look at the map of this cargo ship and the route it took, it really, really looks like the ship's pattern, let's say its chart, which you can find at Vessel Finder, it actually resembles a penis, testicles, and an enormous butt in the Red Sea before it became stuck, causing an intercontinental traffic jam in the maritime artery. As for the possibility that the vessel tracking site somehow conjured the data as a juvenile genital joke, there is no room for some kind of conspiracies or false data, a spokesperson has said. Innocent but terrible luck, disinformation researcher John Scott Railton said. And yeah, this is real. The gigantic ship, which measures in at more than 4 football fields long and over 440 million pounds, became lodged in the Suez Canal when high winds and a dust storm turned it sideways on Tuesday. Previous to that, it was en route to the Netherlands from China. The way in which the ship became stuck was the most awkward way possible, Scott Railton tweeted. Ships in front of us ran aground while going through the canal and is now stuck sideways. Looks like we might be here for a little bit. A person aboard another ship in the canal captioned an image on the Ever Given. Multiple attempts to free it by small Egyptian vessels were unsuccessful, but the crews were eventually able to partially free it. Yeah, still stuck though. While traffic appears to have now resumed, the situation was so bad that many familiar with the waterway feared it would be blocked for days, a major issue as it serves as a vital link between Africa and Asia and the main conduit for roughly 12% of global trade. After all day trying to refloat this mega container ship Ever Given in the Suez Canal, there is a steady logjam of ships waiting in the Mediterranean and Red Seas and in the canal itself in order to move on. All right. I don't think we got time for another one. Let's just go straight to the thought of the day. Thought of the Day happens every night at this time, where we ask a question on our Facebook and Twitter pages, then read your responses on the air because we love the audience participation around here. Today's Thought of the Day is as follows. Tell me about one of your dreams that came true that really affected you. Oh, yeah. Serena, the night my mother died, she had been talking about her deceased grandmother visiting her and wanting to take her to a party for weeks. One night I dreamt I was late to a party and I knew my mom was there, but I was late. In that dream, by the time I got there, she had since left. I woke up and the message was already on my phone that she had passed. Vivster, had a premonition dream about my mother's death within about 2 to 4 months. It came true. Had one about our cat BB, and it came true within about a week. Last year, I had a premonition dream about my second ex-husband's death. That one took about 5 months. Oh, that's scary. David, I recently dreamt that I met up with a good friend of mine who had died far too young. We chatted and caught up and then said farewell. When I spoke up, I knew with absolute certainty, when I woke up, that is, I knew with absolute certainty that we'd been together for the purposes of saying farewell and for him to let me know that he was okay. Kimberly, can't really think of any offhand, but sometimes I get messages in my sleep about famous people dying. I hear their names before I fall asleep. Doesn't happen often, but it did happen with Sean Connery. Angela, my brother and my aunt both contacted me while in comas. My aunt gave me a message from my mom and the family. That was that she was in complete understanding of what was happening. She was ready to go. My mom wouldn't answer, so she called me on my phone in my dream, but that was before cell phones. My brother wanted to go, but my great-grandmother, who was passed, said he couldn't. We were sitting at a table talking it through. She told me that to take him back to his body. I found out the next day he had been in an accident. That night he died 3 times. The chairs at the table were pulled out from under the table next to me. When I got back, I was standing in the living room looking into a light. We got time for one more. Sylvia, the dreams I have told you about, I always wanted 12 children. Well, because of this, I always wanted to raise my children in God's love. So had a very nice mother-in-law, talked with her about turning Catholic. She was excited and said she would support me in any way. I loved her. Thank you to everybody participating in the Thought of the Day. We will do it all again tomorrow, so make sure you check it out on Twitter and Facebook. Thank you to Captain Shirk for just a wonderful SOR news wire, and you can find that on our website. And, of course, to our guest tonight, Bonnie Woodruff, who talked about what it's like getting all ghosty and weird with the paranormal down in Texas. We got Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal rocking in the background with Little Brother Is Watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at home, at work, in your cars, wherever you may be. Thank you to everyone in our chat rooms tonight on Spreaker, YouTube, LGAB, Revolution Radio, Facebook, the Space Travelers Club, and on Twitter at hashtag Spaced Out Radio. Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and SOR Media Ventures Limited. Thank you so much for choosing to share your evening with us, because together, my friends,
we're watching.
We own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Yes, the Woo train has docked for the night. But soon, my friends, we shall ride again. Your seats are always available. Your tickets never expire. And if you want to bring a friend, we've got room for them too. Good night. Good times, people. Very good times. Very, very good times. Happy times. Quality times. All right. I know you're out there somewhere. watching me. Hey, 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 do, 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 do. Hey, 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 hey. Good night, Mike. Where's Super Quest? Hey, Super Quest, how you doing, buddy? Hey, Terry Brown, good to have you here. I'll be right back, people. All right. Let's go here. Give me seconds, people. Ouch. that. Come back, Charles. See you guys while I'm editing. There we go. There we go. Good night, Jose. Let's go. Put that. Good night, Kimberly. Good night, Grandmaster. Good night, Rye. Have a good one, man. Goat milk is disgusting. You need a t-shirt for that, Fapster. Nutflix. Nice. Solid. We only do it to work you up, sovereign farts. That's it. That's all we do. We do it to piss you off, work you up, make you type in capital letters. Yeah, thank you to everyone else who tuned in to World Bigfoot Radio for part 2 of my interview with Duke. That was really cool. He's a good dude. Really good dude. Grandmaster, I thought you left already. It feels pretty calm in here, Jenny. I'm pretty protected. So, nothing real bad happening here. Question, is it okay or not for the mods to put links in to the guest YouTube page or their web page? Please do. Please do. That'd be cool if you did. Hey, Steam Train Mark, how's later today looking? I did see the interview on Fox today with Marco Rubio, and I think there's some serious concern going on about some aliens that could be flying by. I really do. Oh. I tried almond milk once. That shit's terrible too. Oh my goodness. Napster. Getting all rebellious there with the police officers. You Popo guy. Popo not liking you. Excuse me. Hey, Wagon Breath. How you doing? Good to have you here. Your spiky hairdo. Oh my god, really? Are we seriously having a conversation about milk tonight? Are we that lonely that we're having a conversation about milk and canola oil? Hi, gorgeous Teresa. How are you? You're looking stunning tonight. My god. Excuse me. Davey's getting tired. Davey's getting tired. If you guys start bringing up Metamucil, I'm cutting off the chat room because you guys have had too much sobering thought for tonight. Oh, bombshell. I'm singing in my head. Clam milk? Ew. Saturday night show will be going ahead. We're just waiting for a few. I think Lynn wanted to get a new computer, and so I'll check in with her and see how she's doing with that. But that is the plan. Lynn Wallington will take over Saturday nights. Thank you, Race Fan. I feel marvelous. Tired, but marvelous. I got a busy day tomorrow. I have to cut an interview at 10 a.m. with Bigfoot Rob on his podcast. And then I have to, right after that, I got an interview in Vancouver talking about UFOs and on the mainstream media. We're talking for like 8 minutes, which is a long time. Wish it was a little bit longer to get into. But we'll see how it goes. And then I'm going to meet up with Geraldine Orozco after that. Then I have to send out a couple of emails for a story I'm working on. And go from there. Then I have to download OBS to this computer. See if we can get things going on that end for broadcasting YouTube video, like our guests on video. I got a lot of shit to do tomorrow. I don't think it's live. I don't know if it's live tomorrow or if it's pre-recorded. I don't know. It's going to be about an hour or so. That's gone. I'm being interviewed by Bigfoot Rob. 12 p.m. Central, 10 a.m. my time. I'm not sure if it's live or not. Hi, Fata Morgana. How are you? Welcome. Let's see here. Tomorrow night on the show, Mind Control with Joe Diamond. He's a magician. It's gonna be a lot of fun. This guy like plays all over the world. Vegas, New York, major cities. Great entertainer. Thank you, Fata Morgana. Where are you hanging out? Where's home for you? Oh. North Carolina, right on. Right on. All right, everyone. It's that time of the night where I'm going to bed because I'm tired. I got a busy day tomorrow. We got a great show with Joe Diamond planned for tomorrow. So thank you so much for tuning us in. Thank you to Eric, Cat Chaser, Mike's Adventures for the super chats. And thank you to everyone who's pushed us over that 11,000 subscriber mark. Our next goal is 12,000. Actually, our goal is still 15,000 by May 24th. We're moving in that direction. We are. So thank you so much for the love. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for tuning in, sharing this show, doing whatever you do on social media. And we really appreciate it. And we'll see you tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern time. I'll be here. You guys make sure you are too. And love you and have a great night.